Hey everybody, what's happening? How are you? We are here going live on a very strange day, Sunday night. But it feels kind of good to stream on Sunday for some reason or another. Maybe because it's still the weekend. We're still juiced and enthused. Maybe it's because like in the other room the Super Bowl is going on, and I watched all the commercials that are necessary to instill me with life and happiness, and that's basically all I need. So I'm good with that. Hey,
No,
look,
I was just watching Blade Runner all at night.
you were just catching up on Blade Runner stuff. Nice.
Or maybe it's because we just played it the other day, and you're not going to kill us this time, Gordon.
Listen, I don't kill player characters. Games kill player characters.
Dice kill player characters.
Sure, blame the dice. It's like the bullets in the gun.
Always.
It's always the dice.
A
Always the
PSA
dice.
from Slices and Dices.
I learned it from watching you, DM. Okay. All right. So
Need a little theme music.
I'm just waiting to see how Matt manages to drive me crazy in this game.
I'm not going to drive
Elevator
anybody crazy.
Elevator music.
No, there's luckily in the far-flung, gritty tech noir future, elevator music has been banned. But we'll have to see how that works out. Yes, we've got a new game though. This is a super duper cool, probably 3-shot, I think, for our friends who love Blade Runner, from the same people who brought you the Alien RPG games, the same people who brought you Tales from the Loop, same people who brought you Vaesen and others, Twilight 2000, etc. This is a game that is based on the Blade Runner franchise, the Blade Runner and Blade Runner 2049 movies. All of the I didn't realize this, but there is actually an anime, like an actually licensed anime.
I didn't know that either.
By 20th Century Fox that actually sort of comes in between the two movies. Jared Leto has a small part in it in one of the live action portions of it. But yeah, Blade Runner, the role playing game. And tonight we will be playing session 1 of what they consider to be their adventures or modules or scenarios. They call them case files because it's all about the Blade Runners, right? The hard-boiled neo-noir detectives who are looking to do their job and whatever comes at the price of it. But yeah, that's what it's all about. It's the case files. In this case, the case file is called Electric Dreams. If you get the reference, I think you'll understand. Why does Pat have cat ears? I will allow Patrick to tell us why he has cat ears.
Because I'm on a different computer today, and these are the headphones that work.
It's all about what works.
I forgot to charge my cat ears, or we could have been twinsies.
That would, I'm okay with just one cat on this
Brutus, don't listen.
4 people. Speaking of people, we've got some new folks on the channel. I'm super psyched to introduce you to them. I'm gonna go ahead and introduce, since you Patrick, Sarah, you know the introductions, right? If you haven't watched our channel, look up these 2 folks because they're friggin' amazing. I should start. Let me readjust. That person down there, bottom left. That person up there, top right. They've been in a lot of our stuff. But these 2 people down here and up here have never been on Slices and Dices before, but we are super happy to have them here. We've got Julie and Ben, who are Blade Runner fans, aficionados, and have played lots and lots of TTRPGs. So we're super psyched to have them for the miniseries discovering this particular case file and all the things that are associated with it. So, Julie and Ben, you wanna give us a quick intro to yourselves as players before we move on?
Sure. I don't know. We've played everything from 2nd edition Dungeons and Dragons to 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons and Shadowrun. I don't know, all kinds of other stuff that I can't think of because I'm on the spot.
All good. That's what being on the stream is all about. Is you're on the spot. So don't get nervous. I get nervous all the time. It's not good when I'm nervous. Don't do that to yourself and to your fellow players. It's not appealing to be nervous.
What a save! What a save!
Look at that consummate professionalism. I'm the best. Yeah,
That was gonna be fun.
if you screw up, it's not like you'll be clipped and bandied around the internet forever.
Never.
Never.
No.
That's not what this is about.
I've never been clipped. I don't know what you're talking about.
I remember.
But yeah, Julie, anything from you?
Well, Ben was the one who introduced me to gaming back in 98, 99 when we first started dating. So it's been a couple minutes, a few minutes ago.
Oh, good.
Yeah, started out doing like musical theater growing up. So tabletop gaming, Dungeons and Dragons, all of that made so much sense to me. It's like, oh, it's the couch potatoes version of acting. You have the dice to keep you honest. So
Man.
that was me.
That's wow. That hits me in all the right places, Julie. That's just we don't have to walk and act. We can just sit and stare at a camera.
Exactly.
My dear boy, why don't you just
That was like
act?
me in my first TTRPG. I'm like, oh, so instead of like standing up and doing a thing, I just explain what I would be doing if I was standing up and doing a thing. Oh, okay.
The other thing that's
Great.
good about that is I could never do the splits, but all my characters, if I wanted to, they could be flexible enough to do the splits.
You damn
So
straight.
you get to, it's good time.
I can
And-
play a much more convincing dude in a tabletop role-playing game than I can in real life.
There you go.
Me too.
That's for sure, Patrick. I mean, God.
With the bunny ears.
So, that said,
Confident.
some of the rules of Blade Runner RPG may be familiar, or at least sort of tangentially familiar if you've played any of the Free League games. You may notice certain things. This isn't a how to play, but if you want to try this particular series out because you're like, hey, I want to learn how to play Blade Runner RPG, hey, great, good on you. Thanks for tuning in and watching us fall on our faces. We completely fuck up the rules.
Yeah, we want to learn too.
Yeah, honestly, we've had a little bit of time. This is a new RPG, dude. This is like maybe 6 months, 5 months old.
Not even.
Yeah, I've had the rules for a little bit of time, but I run a lot of games, so it's hard to digest rules. Sarah digests rules in like 10 minutes, and she's really good at it, so she's going to call us on our bullshit. I made a whole lot of notes, as DMs are wont to do, and they may come into play, but if we fuck up, don't kill us on the internet. Don't write little notes on the YouTube that this will eventually come out and say, you did this wrong. You fucked up the game. You did it wrong. Because
Slices and Dices. We're the tutorial on how not to play these games.
Aww. Matt, you muted yourself. Patrick, you broke Matt's mic.
Listen, I just wanted to be honest with the people, and if that means that we are going dead on arrival, then we are doing this episode correctly. See, technical issues are a very particular thing, folks, and you have to understand when technical issues happen, dead air is not
There we
allowed,
go.
and that means that someone has to
God.
tell the truth.
Okay.
And when that mic comes back on, that's
It's-
going to be Matt. But in
it's-
the meantime,
it's me.
Okay.
It's I'm okay.
Thank
Can,
God.
can you hear me? Yes.
I've never been happier to hear you in my life.
Okay.
We can
Wow.
hear you
Thanks,
now.
Sarah. Jesus.
I love you, Pat.
That's fine. That's fine. Okay. You can put a thumbs up if you can hear me, please. Just thumbs up. Thank God. Sweat. Phew. Live streaming, folks. It's what's for dinner. Okay. Yeah. No. The microphone cable just surreptitiously popped out because it's fucking with me. Hey, let's keep going. I want to start and see if we can get through this session actually in a little under perhaps 3 hours or 3.5 or thereabouts, so we can actually have a decent amount of time to, reflect and digest as well, because 4.5 hours for a session is long, I've come to realize. And that's okay. So let's just jump into it. How are we going to jump into it? Well, this is how we're going to jump into it. I am going to give you guys a little bit of an opener video. This is sort of the prologue to our game. After which we will be in character for as much as we can be. And then we'll get started. We good for that? Fantastic. All right,
Ready to
folks.
rock.
With that, I'd like to bring you all to session 1 of Electric Dreams. Los Angeles, May 2037. Toxic rain is pouring down over the city, where gigantic buildings dwarf ancient skyscrapers. Lights from huge billboards flash along the streets and wipe across the crowds of pedestrians in Sector 5 Little Tokyo District. The White Dragon Noodle Bar is crowded with customers sitting on stools, slurping their food out of bowls. Veteran Blade Runner Willem Novak is among them, enjoying a few days of hard-earned rest and reading today's Independent Sentinel newspaper. He's in a foul mood. All right, so we're back. Hope you enjoyed that. Novak.
Yeah.
Blade Runner Novak.
How you want to do this?
You are sitting there in the rain, in Sector 5 of Little Tokyo Shopping District. And let me give you a little ambiance here. It's an average morning. You're sitting there in the Little Tokyo Shopping District enjoying a bowl of your favorite noodles, and reading the article that seems to have caught your attention as you are taking a look at the Independent Sentinel, which is a newspaper that is sort of the most widely read newspaper here in Los Angeles, especially since the blackout. I mean, everybody knows about the blackout that happened in 2022. Replicants went so far as to detonate a dirty bomb, which had a, or so they say. There's some kind of EMP dirty bomb, they're not quite sure, which had the effect of wiping out all of the records of pretty much every digital transaction or item ever produced. It switched everybody over to analog. It made people really resent replicants, created this sort of movement that is, one might say, sort of anti-replicant. Severely anti-replicant, but also in the same way spawned a movement that resisted that. That was specifically towards replicant rights. And those two forces have been pulling to and fro, tugging on the morals of society ever since the Nexus 8s were introduced. And Nexus 8s, of course, were the brainchild of the Wallace Corporation. The Wallace Corporation came in to essentially rescue the failing Tyrell Corporation. If you guys remember from the movies, Eldon Tyrell, who was assassinated by rogue replicants in that film, the fallout from that particular event was that the Tyrell organization basically went to pot. People didn't really feel that Nexus 6s could ever be trusted, and were immediately ordered to be retired, as they call them, to be immediately retired if they were ever found on the planet. However, Nexus 8s, as engendered by the Wallace Corporation, an older, at least by this point in time, generation of replicants, were created to represent a massive leap forward in replicant technology, in that they had no known shortened lifespan. They could live however long you wanted them to. And now the newest replicants created by the Wallace Corporation, the Nexus 9, are actually enabled to be used for civilian and occupational use within the police department. In your case, the LAPD has a very specific unit of the police department, and it's called the Rep Detect Unit, or the RDU, of which Blade Runners are the heart and soul of. They are there to make sure that non-conforming replicants are dealt with appropriately. And of course, now that Blade Runners can be human or replicant, well, I'm not sure how you feel about that. But before we get into how you feel about it, let's determine exactly quickly what it is that you're reading in the Independent Sentinel. I'm actually going to switch us to that scene, and we'll see how things work out. So here we go. This is Sector 5, as you can see, folks here watching at home. The red circle is where at least our primary protagonist, Blade Runner Novak, is stationed for the time being. Well, I wouldn't say stationed, it's more like he's just taking some R&R and reading the Independent Sentinel, which I'm going to bring out and show to everyone. And there it is. Let me just show this to him. I think I showed it to everybody. Did I not show it to everybody? Let me see. Oh, that's why. It's now going to be in all players' journals. There we go. Okay, let's try that again. There it is.
Your handout B.
There it is. Handout B. Nexus 9 replicant launcher, resounding success. The Wallace Corp multiplies production. In that particular newspaper, which is taken May 19th, 2037, today, Tuesday. Good thing that the smog level's high, and it's raining, unfortunately, a little bit today. But you're seeing a quote from what seems to be the vice president of public relations of the Wallace Corporation, someone named Quell. The quote is, "The quality of our product speaks for itself. We have a grand total of 0 Nexus 9 models convicted of a crime to date." Other things you see in the Independent Sentinel are the United Nations, which is essentially the one single worldwide government entity that does most of the sort of policing with regards to multiple nations around the globe, as well as all of the national and off-world rules ever since the corporate entities moved in and sort of took over, well, virtually everything. You also see an article about someone, it looks like her name is, her name is Lilith Tyrell. Lilith Tyrell is the niece of the deceased Eldon Tyrell. You see her face sort of, right, I missed it, there we go. Sort of like an aged, she's just like an aged 40-year-old. And she seems to be the rising star of memory design. Seems to be the person behind the memories implanted in Nexus 9 replicants that give them their somewhat human-like qualities. that all replicants are now implanted with memories that give them an idea of, well, who they are. Because if we are not our memories, then who are we? You also see an advertising for the off-world colonies. A new life awaits you. All new, live clean, best future by Chicago Dominguez Corporation, one of the corporations that allows for off-world transportation. There's a couple of other things in there, the daily chess puzzle, and some kind of advertisement about the newest spinner, the bodyguard spinner. There's another thing that's a heat map about the Los Angeles air toxicity, and an advertising about some like design your own butterfly thing on Lafayette and Anamoid Row. That's what you see in the Independent Sentinel. What of the articles appeals to you? I'm gonna sort of, let's start with that. Like, which one of these articles kind of appeals to you?
Novak is definitely kind of hung up on the Wallace Corp article. I think due to the nature of him working in the Rep Detective unit, his concern is sort of about the public image on these things and what sort of bullshit is going to be coming his way that particular day when he goes into the office on the regular. So his morning news is a little bit more formal than some of my other characters, because he knows he's going to have to do a lot of not negotiating, but brand awareness. Like he knows that his personal biases about the Rep Detect unit and what it is like to work with them versus the public opinions on it are things where he has to make sure that he stands by the Force's stance on all of this, especially considering why he's back with a gun slung at his side.
Mm-hmm. Okay. While you are reading the newspaper, hearing the sounds of the city around you and slurping on your noodles, you hear a familiar sound, which is the sound of a spinner coming and hovering just over your position. You see that the crowd disperses, people start to sort of run to and fro as a police spinner lands perhaps 30 feet away from you. The door to the spinner opens, and Fenna emerges. Before we talk about Fenna, we haven't actually, unfortunately, given a description of what Novak looks like. What does Novak look like?
Yeah, so Novak is in his late 40s. He is a gentleman of just under 6 feet, sort of darker skin, medium dark, and there's this very noticeable sort of scar. He's got very short buzzed hair, longer sideburns, and then a little bit of scruff where the goatee would normally fall in. But most of the time you see him absent-mindedly playing. There's a sort of large scar that runs partly through the brow and along the face here. It looks like there was some sort of shrapnel markings that then sort of healed over time. He is wearing a sort of Henley long-sleeve t-shirt and has a pea coat, just like a navy pea coat, sort of big, heavy coat, hung over the back of the chair. And as he hears the spinner coming down, he's probably not looking up from it until it fully lands, and then is finishing the last of his noodles and like folding the paper so he can tuck it inside the coat, and throws the coat on and starts walking towards the spinner as he's pulling a pack of cigarettes out of the left pocket.
Okay. Fenna, I'm going to show everybody what you've been given.
Okay.
Fenna, when you were last at LAPD headquarters, you were given a certain set of orders, and here they are. Give them to all players, and I'm gonna show.
Is that picture that's up, is that Novak?
That is Novak. That is correct. Yeah. So let me go ahead and show everybody the orders that you've been given. The order was actually issued by Deputy Chief David Holden. Little Easter egg here. David Holden is actually the same member of the Los Angeles Police Department that in the original Blade Runner was the man who interrogated Kowalski with the Voight-Kampff machine in the very beginning of the film.
Ah, okay.
We all, if you've watched the movie, know what happened to him. Seems like he survived, though. Because the order was issued by him, and the order says, locate veteran Blade Runner Willem Novak currently on leave. Bring him in for emergency briefing. Tends to go off the grid when on leave. Can often be found in the streets of Sector 5. Novak might object. No is not an acceptable answer. So, Fenna, when people look at you, what do they see?
The door to the spinner opens, and this woman sort of gracefully unfolds herself from the inside and steps out. She's of medium height, perhaps 5'6", and sort of ethnically ambiguous in a way that she could be almost anything, but certainly leaning towards some sort of Asian persuasion mixed in there, or perhaps some sort of native heritage. It's actually really difficult to tell, which tends to draw people to looking at her face as they try to puzzle out who or what she might be. She's decidedly attractive, no matter what your proclivities. There's something about her that draws your eye. Perhaps it is that sort of interesting, ambiguous mix of genetics. And she moves very gracefully through space, almost as though people melt away around her as she makes her way through a crowd.
Okay, great. So, with that said, Fenna, you spot Novak. He's sitting at the noodle bar, just where Holden said he was going to be. What do you do?
William Novak? You're a difficult man to find.
That's usually the goal.
Yeah. That's what I heard, and I applaud your efforts.
You brought
But
me a whole parade and everything.
Yeah, well,
That
you know how
wasn't
the
subtle.
Well, you know the DC. He's not exactly subtle, is he? But as I'm sure you've guessed, I'm here to tell you that your leave has been prematurely terminated, and I'm to bring you in for an emergency briefing.
Hooray. Alright. And he's gonna light up a cigarette and not move. He's just gonna stand there for a second and enjoy the cigarette.
She'll actually stroll up to the open spot next to you and very quickly order something from the noodle bar as well. Not
Okay.
appearing to be in any kind of hurry.
How bad is it?
Are you talking to her or are you talking to me?
Her.
Oh, go ahead.
He's nonplussed by all of this. She made so much noise and showed up right where he was. This has got to be either very important or, like, super bad. And either way, he's not going to give them the pleasure of looking remotely upset about it.
She just smiles and says, by all means, finish your lunch. I'm sure Holden can hold his tongue for a few more minutes.
It is morning, just FYI.
Sorry, your breakfast.
He's going to try and, no, I can't do that. So yeah, he's, with cigarette in one pair of fingers, he's definitely going to slurp the last out of the bowl, like, super really obnoxious, like Madeline Kahn slurping on the soup in Clue, just like eye contact with Fenna, just being like, all right, if you said I can wait on him, or he can wait on me, I'm gonna make him wait on me. And then with the last, just a very satisfying, and then throw it down. And I go, I guess if I'm on duty now, this is on the Forces tab. And I'm just gonna walk towards the spinner.
Okay.
Anna will flick a card over and pay for his breakfast.
Okay.
And she'll take her to-go cup of hot green tea and follow him at a leisurely pace. She's letting him lead the way.
Fantastic.
He's not walking fast, yeah.
Get to the spinner in no time. It's, a standard police spinner. Nothing too fancy. Certainly not as big as the cargo spinners or the troop spinners, as they call them, which are the ones that sort of deploy squads of police officers in certain areas that require them, or even troopers. But in this case, yeah, it's a tight fit. You get into the passenger seat, and Fenna, you get into the pilot seat. And without any further ado, you hit the button to start the spinner once more, and you take off.
And as we raise off the ground, I look at Novak and just kind of smile to myself and say, "And here they told me you were going to be difficult."
Just wait. We'll see what actually has to be happening here.
I'm going to show you a couple of handouts, actually, which are pretty cool. First things first, you approach, after a certain period of time, going through Sector 5. It's not a short trip, but it's certainly not a long one, to LAPD headquarters, which I'm going to make a quick circle around right now. That's LAPD headquarters.
Very close.
Pretty close by. That said, the spinner, when it finally sort of reaches LAPD headquarters, you've seen it before. I'm going to give you a quick handout. There it is. That's what it looks like. This is all art, by the way, from the Blade Runner RPG core rulebook. Just festooned with beautiful art, which you'll see through this mini campaign. So yeah, the spinner sort of comes to a stop above the landing pads at the highest point of LAPD headquarters, and then your spinner goes ahead and takes a point where it settles down to land. You get out through the door of the spinners and head down into the actual offices of the LAPD headquarters themselves. And you are ushered into Deputy Chief Holden's office. There are two people already there besides Deputy Chief Holden. They are people who you may have seen sort of here and there within Rep Detect Unit, LAPD, affairs every once in a while, but you've never really met each other. The first is Percival. Percival is well known to be a replicant. There's nothing actually, that says that he's not. Fenna is as well. It's also stated as such. Fenna is a replicant who works as what's called a doxy within the Rep Detect unit. Doxies are replicants that use subterfuge and manipulation and coercion to get what they want. Rather than physical strength, they use their mind and potentially their looks to get the information out of a potential perp. In this case, our friend Percival, who is another, as I said, is another replicant. I'm going to drag him onto the board in a second. There he is. There's Percival. Percival, let me just take this out of here so you guys can see. There he is, Percival. Percival is another replicant, but he is not a doxy. He is an analyst. Specifically, he's well known to be very intelligent, very well acquainted down in the medical bay. Specifically, sorry, let me say that again. He's actually down in the chief medical examiner's office. In the RIT crime lab. That's basically where he does most of his work. Mostly in actions that require any kind of forensics or scientific analysis. He's basically just a big egghead, but a good replicant, a smart guy, another Nexus 9. But that said, what do people see when they look at Percival? Ben.
Well, he's 6 foot, very thin, not much of a build. You definitely look at him and think that he's a lab tech. He doesn't look like a street cop at all. Dark hair, dark eyes, short hair, Pretty nondescript clothing.
Okay, very cool. So Novak and Fenna, when you arrive in Holden's office, Holden is behind his desk. Now, it's been well known that since 2019, Holden's had to have a certain procedure in order for him to breathe. He got banged up pretty bad by one of these Nexus 6s. And ever since then, he's had to essentially wear, kind of an iron lung of sorts. It's not great for him to breathe, but at least he's alive. He's got kind of a rasping hiss that you can hear almost all the time as he breathes in to talk. But he's able to walk around with help from some additional sort of mechanical units that are attached to his back, because the bullet actually not only went through his lungs but pierced his spine, so he had to actually recover from that as well. But as you enter Holden's office, he's sitting behind the chair and he's smoking, like you know he does, always, all the time, doesn't matter. Welcome, Kate. Come on in. Have a seat. And he motions over to two empty chairs next to Percival and the fourth of the people in this, of the 5 people in this room, the fourth of the ones that you don't know, and that is Oelsen Baker. You've seen Oelsen before, right? Oelsen is actually another member of the Rep Detect unit. She's relatively new, actually, to the RDU. Some say that she has kind of a little bit of a chip on her shoulder. It's kind of a little gruff. Something happened. Nobody really knows why or how or when or anything like that. But Oelsen, what do people see when they look at you? Julie. Oh, you're muted. There we go. All good. I was muted, so you can...
Okay.
There we go.
There we go. Hi. Sorry about that.
No worries.
When they see Oelsen, they see average height, creamy complexion, but dark hair and dark brooding eyes. Definitely something behind there that's a little bit darker emotionally, but definitely stubborn is there also. Like, she's gonna be the one that's... You're not gonna get too much past her that she doesn't want.
Awesome. So, Holden motions to the 2 who have just entered his office, Fenna and Novak, to come and have a seat. You
Fenna
guys
will
can introduce each other if you'd like.
melt into a chair and light a cigarette.
Novak's gonna lean against the doorframe.
Novak,
I'm
not
inside the room.
come and sit down. I'm not gonna ask again.
Sits down.
Shut the door.
Farthest back in the class. Clearly the kid who doesn't want to be there.
Shut the door. The sounds of the outside sort of filter away. You just hear the sort of tickety tapping of Holden as he starts to use his KIA unit to bring up some relevant information for the case that you guys are all on. He says, "All right, listen up. We have an urgent situation. Last night, there was a shooting in Sector 1. He sort of slams his, this sort of metal box next to him. He's like, fucking thing. Takes a drag off his cigarette. Sordid place called the Snake Pit on Nightclub Row. 2 Nexus 9 Blade Runners were there. Serial numbers LH3-7.93 and SN9-1.48. Code names Leia and Sandor. Maybe you've seen him around. If not, I'll give you their profiles right now. And I'll send them to your KIA units. And you will now see, first, the handout of Leia and her profile. As you can see, Leia is a Nexus 9 unit. Her incept date was July 4th, 2036, just last year. She's a combat replicant, as well as a recon replicant. Her physical state, level A, so highest you can go. Mental state, though, level C. And her last known address was on 21 Hanved Street, according to Esper. He then says, let me give you the other one. So that's Sandor. There we go. And he shows you that on the KIA as well. KIA shows a young male. This one also a Nexus 9, incept date just this year, actually. February 17th, 2037. Combat and liaison model. Physical and mental state, both level B. And he continues and says, well, maybe you have, maybe you haven't seen him around. Anyway, Sandor was shot, dead, and Leia's now missing. We have no idea where she is. They went to the Snake Pit to investigate suspected Nexus 8 activity, but we don't know if that's what triggered the shooting. According to local cops at the scene, witnesses said there were human supremacist jerks at the Snake Pit last night. Maybe that had something to do with it. We just don't know. I guess we'll read all about it in that sleazy tabloid Kill tomorrow. Now, you guys know about this tabloid Kill. It's basically, the Inquirer and the Post and everything else that you could possibly ask for in tabloid information. Whatever gets the most attention, sells the most papers, Kill is all about it. Holden continues and says, you need to figure this out, and fast. I have the brass breathing down my neck on this. As you know, the Nexus 9 replicants were approved for use on Earth last year. Mistrust against the reps is running high, and he looks pointedly at Percival and Fenna. He says, someone out there is killing and kidnapping Nexus 9s. We need to find out who they are and stop them fast. Add to that, the Wallace Corporation is pushing us really fucking hard on this. Their business depends on this new breed of replicants, and anything that jeopardizes that would be a major blow to their bottom line. They're letting us run this investigation, but they have offered their assistance. Their PR manager, Quell, is expecting you at Wallace Corp HQ if you were to show up there to tell you more about it. And more about Leia. Play, and he sort of leans forward and sort of laces his fingers together and says, play nice with them. I mean it, Novak. Listen, the four of you can play this any way you like. You could split up to cover more ground if you need to. I don't fucking care, as long as I get results, and fast. You have the full resources of the Rep Detect unit at your disposal, but I'm not going to let you get away with murder, so to speak. You take what you take, you get what you get, and you don't get upset. Sandor's body is being processed down in the crime lab by our good friend Coco right now. Of course, you can check the LAPD mainframe for personnel files on Sandor and Leia, and of course, any Esper footage of the snake pit last night, but, good luck with the Esper stuff. It's a little tricky sometimes to get them to, play nice. Maybe you'll get lucky. Anyway, I've uploaded to your KIA all relevant information that we have so far. Any questions?
Yeah.
Of course.
Not sure I can... Don't of course me, sir. I'm trying to be good at what I do. That's why I'm here.
Go ahead.
You're with Tech, right? And he looks at Percival.
Absolutely.
I've seen you around. Can you get through the Esper and see if there's anything worthwhile in that footage?
I'll check through it.
Thank you. Oelsen, was it?
Yes.
Can you go to the files and see what they were working on for cases?
Of course.
So, you know that in terms of files and cases, all of that stuff would be on the LAPD mainframe. So both of those are essentially in the same area. The Esper database, the mainframe, essentially in the same area.
Okay, I'm gonna head that direction.
Okay.
Head out with him.
Should have unfolded
As
my-
it's just...
Oh, sorry.
I was gonna say, as it's the two of us, Fenna and myself, and DA at DC, I look at him and go, and why the fuck am I here for real? What is this about?
He sort of leans forward and he says, you know, I had someone ask me that once, a long time ago. I told him the same thing I'm going to tell you. I need that old Blade Runner magic.
That's why the other two are going to get files. Tell me why you want me. What about this magic? What's feeling off to you?
What's feeling off
Pick
to
me
me
for a reason.
is that I don't want the Wallace Corp to come down on my ass and tear us a new one. And it
So
ain't the
play nice
best.
until we have to play dirty?
I wouldn't play dirty if I were you. Might cost you something here in the department. Just let us know what's happening.
Yes, sir. And then he is comfortable sitting in silence until they come back with the info.
Okay. Do you want to do anything during this time frame?
Going to say, Fenna's going to sort of languidly unfold herself from the chair and say, well, if there's no objections, I'll go poke around the snake pit and see what bites.
Don't do that just yet. Let's take a look at that footage and see if they're interacting with anybody in particular. I've been here a long time. I don't know if I still have contacts there, but I'm familiar with the snake pit, and there may be something that they were working on that brought them there in particular. Let's look at some names before we send you down there on your own. Good instincts, but not yet.
Now, here's the thing about this game and the way that time works, because it's important to recognize about the passage of time during a specific case file. There are 4 time periods, or shifts, that make up a standard day. There is a morning, a day, an afternoon, and a night time period, or shift. Those shifts comprise a single day. If you, as a human, and technically actually as a replicant as well, you can spend 3 shifts together in a row performing your investigations, but after 3, you need to take some downtime. You need to take a break. After your 3rd shift, if you don't take downtime, that can have a detrimental effect on you. It can start to wear you down, give you some stress. So it's important to use your days wisely, but you can't all be in the same place at the same time, lest potentially you miss out on a variety of different points of the investigation or your leads. Just saying it because if you intend to spend a shift here in Holden's office while the other 2 go to the the LAPD mainframe, you may miss out on other evidence.
At
Can
which
I
point,
ask the
when-
question?
Say, when he says that, Fenna will stand up and say, All due respect, but they're probably still cleaning up from last night. So if the crew hasn't left yet and they're still cleaning, I want to catch them before they go home.
Can I ask the question I had in my head a different way then, Matt?
Yeah.
Does Novak have contacts specifically at the snake pit? No. So specifically with the connection dice that I've got, I'm curious as to how to properly utilize that. And,
Yeah. So
I see what you mean about shifts and pits.
I see exactly what you're saying, and that's another thing we're going to talk about quickly about connections. Everybody has essentially an underworld connection that they can potentially utilize to get more information. That is a guy who you all know.
Yeah.
And that is... Hold on for 1 second. I've got it here in my notes. Don't mind me. I'm just going to look it up in the core rule book while you guys chitter-chatter. Stuff like that. But yeah, suffice it to say that you do have an asset to gain more information on a topic, but you will need that asset with a successful connections roll to spend a shift of time doing it. Let me get the assets.
I'll make that roll.
Okay. Yeah, the asset's name in this case is Corgi. Corgi is a guy who you know, he's sort of been up and down through criminal enterprises, mostly sort of middle tier, but mostly, not going very much further past that. He's sort of plugged in to a lot of the different corners of the criminal underworld. So he's kind of, it's his way of wearing a badge, in a way, of being an informant. He maybe at one point even wanted to be a Blade Runner.
Okay. And he is actively connected to the snake pit, or that's just something...
He's not actively connected to the snake pit, no, but he is sort of all around LA. He knows people who know people.
So we're starting the game by splitting the party. Okay.
That's the way it works in this game, baby.
Yeah. No, that's fair. Yeah, you know what, Novak's gonna look at Fenna and go, all right, maybe you've got the right idea. Let's get down to the snake pit, get some information. I know someone we can lean on. We'll see if his information matches up to what we see.
Sure thing. Just give me a second to change. And she's gonna shuffle off to the locker room and sort of dig through her locker where there is... It's a nightmare in there. There's so much shit in her locker. And she kind of like pulls some things out and ends up finding like a very short and tight leather miniskirt and sort of just like sort of a floppy off the shoulder midriff shirt and a shiny white plastic raincoat. And she's gonna sort of mess up her hair a little bit, maybe smear some of her eyeliner a little. Then pack everything back into the locker and come out and meet Novak and say, ready to go. You do it your way, I'll do it mine, partner.
Fair enough.
Okay.
And he walks, I would assume, back to the roof so we can get in the spinner and...
Yeah, you're going to need to... If you're going to head to the snake pit, that's actually in Sector 1. Which is... I'm actually going to sort of point people... It's at least for the players, it's way over here to the sort of northwest. Sector 5, where you guys are right now, is here. So you'd have to sort of go from where you are all the way up to the snake pit over here.
I'm just gonna say, as really gonna say, do me a favor, drop me off a few blocks away, and I'll meet you there.
I was gonna say the same thing, actually. Yeah, can we land walking distance away so we're not just driving up to the door?
Sure, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so you guys will head up to the roof while Percival and Oelsen head to the LAPD mainframe. That will be where you will do your morning shift. So I'd like you all to open up your character sheets. If you want to put your notes in for this particular part of the investigation, what you're going to do is open up your character sheet, switch to the shift log at the top, which is the middle tab next to Blade Runner. And in there, you will see the shifts: morning, day, evening, and night. So you can put your notes for the morning, the day, the evening, and the night in those particular sections. Make sense? At least for this day.
I'm sort of putting like brief notes in here, but since I can't see all of them at once, my lengthier notes I'm keeping in a separate
Totally
document.
fine. Totally fine. Okay. So let's go ahead and we're going to do this in two sort of mini scenes. We may switch back and forth actually during them. So what we'll do is we will take our friends Novak and Fenna and bring you guys over here to the snake pit. Like so. And you two will stay here at LAPD headquarters, Oelsen and Percival, at least for now. Fair enough?
Fair enough.
Oelsen and Percival, you two walk down to the mainframe level. And as you walk down through LAPD headquarters, one of the officers sort of like looks at you with this just cold fucking stare. Percival, he's like, fucking skinned you up, piece of shit. You hear that under your... I mean, it's clear as day.
I prefer artificial person myself.
Whatever. Clearly no love lost between you and several members of the LAPD. When you arrive, the two of you, at the LAPD mainframe, you see just a bank of computers, and the famed Esper Wall. The Esper Wall, of course, is the main place where cameras and other kinds of surveillance equipment all around the city display pretty much every single waking hour of what they can see and hear to be analyzed, recorded, and sort of taken apart by the massive, humongous computers that would be able to store all this information. Ever since the blackout, there hasn't been a whole lot of information, so whatever they can see on Esper is what you can get. So you know, of course, that you will be able here in here in the mainframe to receive non-classified information with a tech roll, which I'll ask you to do in a minute. You can, of course, also access the mainframe remotely from your KIA, no matter where you are in Los Angeles. But if you do it here in-house, number one, you'll get advantage on that tech roll. And number two, it will take about a shift. That's the first thing about the mainframe and the non-classified information which you can garner from it. The Esper Wall, however, access to that will require some greasing of the wheels, shall we say. You'll need to make a connections roll as well as a tech roll. And it will cost you 1 promotion point. Promotion points are a resource in the game that we're going to get to in a bit. Promotion points are basically brownie points for doing a good job as a Blade Runner. If you don't do a good job as a Blade Runner, it's possible that your promotion points may be taken away from you. When your promotion points as a replicant hit 0, you're going to need to come in for, a baseline test. And if you've seen Blade Runner 2049, baseline tests are there to make sure that everything is copacetic as a replicant. If things aren't, you may receive a warning. And on the second try, you may get a demotion. The third one, I'm afraid your time is up. You may just have to be retired. Baseline tests make sure that replicants do what they're supposed to. So, with that informed to the two of you, what do you wish to do?
Start with the mainframe and dig up what I can on the incident at the snake pit.
Alrighty.
I'm gonna.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry, apologies. Yeah.
I'll go ahead and start digging into their case files to see what I can figure out what they're working on.
Absolutely. Go ahead and make tech rolls, please, both of you. And you'll have advantage. Wow, Percival. 5 successes. Did you just roll that? That's nuts.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
crazy.
Someone's got a pretty tech skill.
He's a beast when it comes to anything like that.
Unbelievable. Okay. I want to show you guys a quick Esper handout. And 0 successes for Oelsen. Oelsen, you can, remember that you do have advantage, so you can roll that with advantage. So go ahead and roll another, well,
Do the same thing, or?
no, remember that when you roll your things, you have to click on advantage at the top left-hand corner of your character sheet. That will allow you to roll with advantage. So in this case, go ahead and roll another D8. Just a single D8, and we'll take the higher of the two, between 2 and whatever you roll. A 3. Okay, unfortunately, that's still no successes. So it looks like you're just not used to this kind of stuff, Oelsen. But that said, Percival certainly is with 5 successes. So you can't make heads or tails of it, unfortunately, Oelsen, with regards to the performance reports for Leia or anything like that. But you want to take a look at the Esper wall. That seems to be the only place, because the mainframe does not have footage. It's the Esper wall that has footage. So I guess the question for you, Percival, is, since you've definitely passed the tech roll, the question I have for you is, do you want to spend a promotion point and then make a connections roll to get the information on the snake pit and any kind of footage that you can find there?
Absolutely.
All right, so you go ahead and spend that connection point.
Got it.
Sorry, the promotion point, and then make your connections roll. This is not with advantage.
And this is where I'm not amazing at.
Understandable.
Hey.
Okay, still 1 success, and that's enough. So yeah, I mean, they see you coming, they see you typing on the mainframe, and you're like, I can't. Why can't I get information here from? Oh, it's because I need it from the Esper wall. That's fine. So you spend a promotion point in doing so, and the guys sort of look at each other like, fucking skin jobs always want to find out what the hell we're doing. That said, they will in fact find information and give it to you. You see them printing out a hard copy. Here, let me see if I can get it for you. Yeah, here it is. Yep, here's the Esper machine boots up. You hear this sort of like analog beeping. And you see these guys typing away. And it starts to print out and give you a hard copy of footage of Leia, pronouncing it wrong, leaving the snake pit on the night of the shooting. And I'm going to give that to you right now. Let me just find it for you. There we go. I'm going to show this to you all because you all have access to KIA, which means that you can ostensibly see each other's materials. However, the information that you garner during your investigations, you need to report back to headquarters. That's your decision to do so or not. So I leave it in your hands. That said, now I'm going to go ahead and show you what you see on the night, and I'm going to blow it up for you. Enhance! That's the picture that you see on the night of the shooting. What do you wish to do?
Oh, let's see. Zoom in on it.
Okay. So
see if I can find anything in there.
Yeah, your eyes sort of look through the picture, and you do see that over in sort of the top right-hand corner of the picture, there is a cab there, a metro cab. And you see that Leia is actually getting into a cab, but you can't really make it out. So I'd like you, if you can, to make another tech roll which will allow you to enhance the picture, which you succeed and get a critical success and are able to get a zoomed in version enhanced right now. Let me give that to you as well. And here's that version. As you can see, there is Leia. She's getting into a Metro cab, and you can make out the enhanced version of this Esper, now allowing you to see the serial number of the Metro cab. I just want to give you some, let's see if I can give you some enhanced, there we go. This is actually from the Blade Runner, here we go. And it enhances, and you can see that.
Excellent. So, definitely download that to him immediately so that we can start looking up the cab.
Okay. Fair enough. Oelsen, seeing as you didn't have the opportunity to get into the to do that particular task within the mainframe, is there anything else that you wanted to do?
Well, if I wasn't able to get in, I mean...
Yeah. For Leia's report? Yeah, I'm with you.
For Leia's report, I mean, do they know anything more? Is there a way I can look into Sanders' reports? Or is it basically, would that have been the same basic check?
Yeah, Sanders' report would have been the same check, yeah.
Okay, so, I guess we could check to see if they've got any information from down in the lab about Sander, cause of death.
You could go down to the crime lab, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Since we're here.
Yeah, you can do that. I'll allow that the two of you, since you didn't spend a whole lot of time in the mainframe, to head on down to... technically, you're supposed to spend one shift at the mainframe and then one shift at the crime lab, but I'll allow it that you guys are essentially in the same place, so we're okay with that. Let's shift our scene while you guys move on down to the crime lab. Let's shift our scene to the snake pit. All right, let me move you guys to a map, actually.
Ooh.
Yeah. That doesn't mean you're going to get in combat.
I know. I just like maps.
I like maps too.
Bold of you to make an assumption at this hour.
The maps
Matthew.
are really freaking awesome here.
I just like maps.
The maps are really great. I'm gonna go ahead and zoom out so you guys can all see that down here. Okay.
Oh, wow, I need to zoom in. Okay.
Let's see, make sure you guys
Okay.
all have vision.
Oh.
So I actually would have several blocks away where we landed.
I
Yeah,
got vision.
asked Novak, said, do me a favor. Hang back for a minute, and if I need help, you'll know.
Let me just change your vision here, folks, because want to be able to show the whole screen to everybody. Give me for 1 second here.
Novak will nod and sort of lean against the wall. Give her a good 10 count, but keep her just at the edge of vision. Be a block
And
away.
sort of as, like, she'll sort of, like, wink at you as she walks away, and as she turns, her entire body posture changes. And instead of her usual confident, somewhat graceful walk, she's now not exactly staggering, but like weaving ever so slightly. Not so steady on her feet. Maybe one shoulder is slightly slumped. As she reaches into the pocket of her raincoat and takes out a small, airplane sized bottle of vodka. Or actually gin, I would say. Takes some back, swishes it in her mouth, spits it on the sidewalk, dumps a little bit sort of on the front of her skirt, and then chucks the bottle in the street as she continues to go.
All right. Cool. You arrive at the snake pit, maybe like 3 or 4 blocks away from the snake pit, and walk towards the entrance. You see that there is a crowd there, actually, sort of being held back by a couple of LAPD officers that see you when you enter, or get to the outside, I should say. Give me 1 second. Snake pit. So yeah, outside the snake pit, you sort of hear the noise of a variety of people there. And let me show you, if I can. Actually, no, they don't have a handout for the snake pit. That's totally fine. But let me go to snake pit. There we go. Yeah, so you know about the snake pit. I mean, it's pretty famous, or I should say infamous, for its strong drinks, 5-star entertainment, and sordid history. You remember back in 2019, one of the snake pit's performers was retired on the street, later revealed as a fugitive Nexus 6 conspirator. One of them, actually, that was behind the infamous 2019 Tyrell Corporation murder spree. You remember her name was Zora. The owner of the snake pit is a guy by the name of Taffy Lewis, who actually sort of spun the infamy into free publicity, turning his sultry club into a sensation, honestly. The snake pit still attracts the best stage performers, mostly because half the audience works at the nearby agencies. And when you arrive, there is this little police line outside. There's a small crowd of gawkers looking inside. Yeah, go
sorry,
ahead.
go ahead.
No,
See, Lena is going to kind of stumble her way into the crowd
okay.
and start looking at all of the people around her and listening to snippets of conversation, trying to figure out who around her was in there when it happened.
Okay, make an observation check, please.
Alrighty. I keep saying Lena, I mean Fenna.
That's fine.
Success.
That is a 1 success. Okay. Do you want to push that?
You know what? Yeah, I will push my...
Okay. Reminder that if you do push a success, I'd like you to tell me how you do it. So, for example, a pushed success in the world of Blade Runner is, or a pushed failure, is a situation where you attempted to try to do something, it didn't work out the way you wanted it to, and then you found another way of doing it.
All right, so because this is starting with a single success and I'm just kind of pushing for a bigger success,
Yeah.
I'm going to say she half catches something just off to one side and sort of, allows herself to be jostled by somebody else so that she can trip and fall in the direction of the people that she heard talking to try to pick up a little bit more of their conversation.
Okay, cool. Go ahead and push it. If you do get any 1s on this pushed roll, that will...
I will take stress.
You will take a point of stress.
Oh,
Which
and I
unfortunately
did.
just happened. So, go ahead and add a point of stress as you get sort of jostled around just to find more
Which essentially
information.
means removing a point of resolve.
That is correct. A point of stress removes a point of resolve.
Wait, oh, sorry, that just changed my max 4. All right, hold on a second. Okay, and
On your
okay,
character
I know
sheet,
what
just click on the number behind it.
Okay, there we go. So I was at 4, now I'm at 3. All right,
Super.
it was weird. It looked kind
No
of
problem,
funky. Okay,
no problem.
cool. Now I'm at 3.
Novak, you see Fenna
So-
sort of getting jostled around, and she sort of like turns like a little bit like a scared rabbit. You're not quite sure if this is an act or not.
But I do still have a single success.
You do have a success. You don't hear very much conversation-wise of what's occurring that may be relevant, but you sort of like see in the crowd that everybody's sort of like talking and jostling and moving around. It's all sort of peas and carrots, watermelon. But you sort of like, as you come out of your small reverie, you see that there is a guy who's looking at you. Big, tall guy. Like 6.5 feet tall. Big, bald. Very pale skin. Maybe an albino. You're not quite sure. He's just sort of staring at you.
Can I insight check him to determine if he's staring at me with interest or malice, like what his thoughts towards me are as he is staring at me?
Yeah, absolutely. So insight does give you, with a success, the idea of what's their strongest emotion. And you can, with a critical insight, understand if someone is lying but not necessarily what they're lying about.
I mean, I'm not talking to him at this moment, so I just kind of want to know.
Exactly. Trying to understand, just from looking at him, what their strongest emotion is.
Yes. 2 successes.
That's a critical success with 2 successes. So although you are able to, if you had heard him speaking, you would be able to tell if he was lying or something, but you can tell that he's looking at you with a certain amount of disrespect and maybe even fear.
Interesting. All right. At that point, I will weave my way out of the crowd and walk over to Novak.
Okay.
Does
And-
Novak see any of that?
I don't believe so, no.
And I'm going to kind of stumble into him and whisper in his ear, I think we've got a rep hater in the crowd. I'm going to go change in the car. I'll be right back. And then I'm going to stagger off down the street to the car to change into not drunk club girl clothes.
Okay.
He's gonna stare after her for a second to sell the illusion of the drunk girl and being like, wow, somebody's drunk before the sun's even down. And then is gonna sort of march towards, not march towards the crowd.
I also would have
he's
said,
gonna
see you
amble.
inside.
Yeah.
And then gone to the
He's gonna amble towards the crowd and sort of push his way through. And when he gets to the front of the crowd, he's gonna flash the badge on the inside of the coat so that he can get past the yellow tape.
Yep, absolutely. The cops sort of nod at you. Go. Great. Another one. And
What do you mean, another one?
I will take myself around the corner. We'll assume that I'm back in like 10 minutes.
cop looks at you and says, I mean, you're one of those. You're one of the Blade Runners. Had to cart one out of here. Hopefully you don't end up like him.
How kind of you. And then fuck off right by him. Is there anything specific that stands out to me as I get through the tape and up the steps?
Well, there are no steps in the entrance. It's just like,
Okay.
double doors that you get in.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll bring you on in. Oops, sorry. There we go. Objects. Okay. So I'll bring you inside. The interior of the snake pit, or at least the opening area there is like, there's like a nice sort of settee. You hear some sort of the sounds of music sort of maybe thumping inside the crowd. Inside the club, or the bare bones of it. Perhaps from maybe left over from last night. The area here, which seems to be the coat check, bereft of people. Like, nobody's inside the club.
Okay. Do I clock any cameras here in the entranceway?
No, not in the entranceway.
Okay. I'm going to continue on through to the doorway here
Okay.
and sort of look around.
Yeah, this is the sort of main dance floor area of the snake pit. You see that there's a bar over here on the left-hand side. You see that the main stage is over here to the east. There is only one other person of note besides the LAPD officer here in the middle of the snake pit, and that is the owner of the snake pit, Taffy Lewis. So the uniformed officer and Taffy seem to be talking to one another. I'm also going to give you, what looks like the actual photo of the snake pit itself. So I'm going to go ahead and give you that as a handout. And this is what it looks like, folks.
Well, that's a mess.
Yeah, it's a mess.
Opulent
Real
shit,
mess.
too.
Very opulent. If you guys remember from the original Blade Runner movie, Deckard does come into the snake pit to talk to Taffy Lewis to try to get more information about Zora. You ever deal in any snakes, Taffy? Never heard of them.
Alright, so these photos, The light streaming that we're seeing here is, I would presume, coming from up on this side, these sort of doorways here, and this is the.
Yep.
Okay. So there's a large blood stain in the middle.
Yeah.
It looks like this sort of mirror over here looks shattered in this photo. I noticed that there's a lounge area. Is there anything blood or damage in this direction, or is it all sort of pointing northward on this map?
Yeah, there's no damage. There's just a single shattered mirror. There's no other damage except that single shattered mirror and that big old blood stain right in the middle of the dance floor. Did you see that there are, doorways to other places?
Can I make an observation check to see anything that might stand out to me of this particular scene?
Sure, I will allow that. Go ahead and make an observation check. Okay, that's one
That is a
success. I would say, I mean, Taffy's looking at you as you come in. He's just noticing your garb. And he's like, fuck. He's looking real upset. He's rubbing his hands.
Have I interacted with Taffy before?
No, you've never interacted with Taffy Lewis before, but you know who he is.
Taffy Lewis. Or do you?
Who's asking?
Fucking police.
I know. Who? You got a name?
Back. Detective Novak.
How can I help you, detective? He's got like all these like rings all over his fingers. His hair is sort of slicked back. I've got a really great what's it called for him? I've got a mugshot actually that I'm gonna give you, which is a card that I'm gonna drag from the mugshots deck onto the board. Hopefully you guys.
There's a deck of mugshots.
There's a deck
Yes.
of mugshots, baby. I got this. Let's see if we can do this. Cancel mugshots. Here we go. Mugshot. I'm gonna choose. Oh, I have to bring the card deck, of course, onto the board. Here we go. Mugshots show. And I'm going to choose the mugshot of our friend Taffy Lewis. There he is in all of his glory. That's
Nice.
Taffy Lewis.
Okay. I'm just inquiring and getting some information about the body. I'm not sure you're aware of the fact that a Blade Runner is the one who was killed on your premises.
Oh, very
Mr. Lewis.
much so. Ergo, all of the attention and the loss of business.
Then perhaps you can respect our desires to make this as efficient and thorough as possible by sending in multiple sets of eyes, so that your insurance can prove that you had nothing to do with it, and you get to slither away scot-free.
Wow, you talk real nice for a gumshoe.
I'm gonna straighten his tie and just go, shut up. And then I'm gonna walk off north, and I'm gonna take a look in the direction of... is there any sort of stain or spatter direction from this sort of blood pool, or does it look like stuff moved towards the mirror or away from the mirror? I guess I'm intrigued by this handout.
So, yeah, if you're talking about the crime scene specifically, the blood stain, it's like semi-dried. It's on the floor. You could find out more about the blood by bringing it back to the crime lab if you wanted it to.
Yeah. If there's not already blood being sent to the crime lab, I'd absolutely love to some of that.
Just the bodies in the crime lab right now.
Okay.
Hey, Matt, would you let me in?
I'm so sorry. No.
It's okay.
I'm just kidding. Okay, yes. I would say at this point in time, Fenna comes.
Oh, I just need to get through the door. I'm gonna hang out back here and like watch him for
Sure.
a few minutes before I enter. I'm kind of just quietly observing from back here.
No problem.
Yeah, I'm trying to see, like, I'm trying to think, not like an actor. What would this crime scene look like? What would I be able to discern from walking into this room? You know?
Yeah, I'll tell you what.
There's no-
If you don't have any sort of clues that you want to go after specifically, I will allow you to make a single observation check.
Clues from the visual or clues
yes.
from the description you gave me? Okay.
No,
let's
clues from
go
the
look at the mirror. I'd like to.
Oh, you
I'd
want
like
to look at the mirror? Okay, yeah,
and
absolutely.
The impact. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I wanna.
if you look at the mirror, you see, Novak, that behind the mirror, where that humongous crack is, there is a deformed bullet stuck in the wall behind it.
I am very interested in that. I'm going to snap a pic on my KIA.
KIA?
Yeah. Just fighting a sneeze. Yeah, I'm going to snap a pic on my KIA and make a note of it. And I'm also going to take a photo of the mirror so that we can sort of gauge. Did the bullet go through the mirror, or was it shot like... Okay.
It went through the mirror and was stuck in the wall behind it. You could do so much as not just take a picture of the bullet, you could take the bullet out of the wall if you wanted to and send it to the crime
great.
lab.
Fuck yeah. Absolutely. Bag that. I will bag that, I should say. I'm not going to make somebody else do it. I'm going to bag it. I presume I have some sort of evidence bags, or you said there was an officer with Taffy.
Yep.
As he's doing that, Fenna will enter the main room with her usual confidence. She's now dressed conservatively in a pair of loose dark trousers and a pale sweater. She's brushed her hair, she's wiped off the makeup, and she's put on a pair of dark sunglasses. And she sort of comes in, looks around, and says, "Oh, this place looks so different in the daylight." And then she'll walk directly towards Taffy and say, "You'll have to excuse my partner. He's not exactly a people person."
Do I know you?
Oh, no, not directly, though I have frequented your establishment on occasion. This is my partner, Detective Novak. Could you tell me where my,
He immediately sort of like crosses his arms and he's like, "Oh, you're one of them. Okay."
Oh, don't judge a book by its cover. I'm also a frequent patron of this delightful establishment. But what I really would like to know is, well, you may not know the answer to this, busy as you are, but I'm sure there may be some in your employ who could tell me if my co-workers were regular visitors to this club.
Make a manipulation roll.
With pleasure. 2 successes.
Fantastic. Yeah, Taffy says, "It's only 'cause you look like my niece." He smiles at you and sort of gives you a wink.
She smiles pleasantly at him.
And says, "Listen, these two skin jobs, replicants."
No offense taken.
Yeah, I saw them in here the night before. They smelled like cops, kind of like you, but perhaps a little worse. And they sort of stayed at the bar, just observing, not talking to anyone, until the brawl broke out.
The brawl? There were fights 2 nights in a row?
Oh, no, just last night.
Oh, but they were here the night before and didn't talk to anyone?
Not that I saw. I mean, some big, tall, pale guy confronted him. I saw him at the club before, too, but, can't remember his, he sort of snaps his finger. Some girl said his name is Styles. Kind of a stupid fucking name, but whatever.
Tell me, do you have cameras pointed out front right now?
No, I got no cameras outside. It's all Esper stuff.
I have to take a look at that later. There's someone outside right now who kind of looks like that. Might want to tell your bouncers to keep an eye out.
Oh, I got these guys, and he points over his shoulder at the police officer who's just like writing notes feverishly about something. Not quite sure. He's like, "What?" Never mind, Gumshoe. "Oh no, you're not the Gumshoe." He points over at Novak. "That's your partner, the Gumshoe. This guy's just a cop."
I will walk over to the cop and say, "There's a gentleman outside who gave me a very strange look," and I'll describe him. Do me a favor and keep an eye on him, would you?
Cop sort of looks over and goes, "Yeah, sure. Fine." Tips his hat and walks out.
I'm going to cross over to Novak wherever he is. Oh, he's right.
Novak has moved to the center. Yeah, no, he's moved to the center and is starting to look at the
you.
bloodstain now.
I'm going to cross over to Novak and, well, first of all, I'm going to thank Taffy for his time. Say, I'll be sure to ask you if I have any more questions, but I don't want to waste your time. I know you're very busy.
He says, listen, things got rowdy. It happens. What are you going to do? Okay? They have their right to their opinion.
I'm certain this was just an isolated incident, but I'm sure you wouldn't want any more such incidents to disgrace your club, so we hope to wrap this up quickly.
I would like that as much as possible. I would like to reopen as quickly as I can.
Understood. And I will cross to Novak and relay the contents of that conversation, primarily that the two were here the night before, that they were confronted by a big, tall, pale guy who I think I may have seen outside, and I told one of the beat cops to go keep an eye on him.
So it's actually, let me give you some information which may have gotten confused. He sort of stops you for a sec, Taffy. He says, no, you got it wrong. Leia and Sandor didn't get into a fight with the Styles guy. This group of human, whatever, they call them human first, human supremacists. That fucking guy, Jel Schuyler, the publisher, what's his face? He was all up in there, because they started jeering at Iris. They started throwing stuff and booing her and shit like that. And then, when that happened, Styles jumped in and confronted them. Next thing you know,
I'm
brawl
sorry.
fight, boom, 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 and then bang.
Okay, so Jill
Sandor's
Schuyler was harassing Iris. I'm assuming she's one of your performers.
Yeah, she's and he points in like towards the back of the club.
Oh, would you mind terribly if I spoke with her?
Whatever.
I leave this to you, Detective, she says to Novak. Unless he
Novak
desperately
goes,
wants to come.
You say that these human first folks were the ones booing at Iris, or our people?
Nah. Listen, as I said, they got the right to their opinion. But we do not discriminate with the people that we employ here.
And this large, pale gentleman, you bounced him?
I didn't bounce anybody. He got in their faces and started to smush them around, and next thing you know, bang!
Did he go through the front or out a different...
I don't know. I didn't see him after that.
How did he leave this room? You don't have footage of this. You don't keep track for your performer's safety. There's no footage here.
Nope.
How very discreet of you.
Listen, people got a right to their privacy.
Novak is going to trail after and follow Fenna to this sort of hallway and see if there's any sort of... Is there information? Is there an actual staff area with some sort of security tapes that he's lying to me about?
Actually,
is there a way to tell if he's lying to me?
You could make an insight check on him, yeah, absolutely.
Love to. Ooh, maybe not.
Yeah, unfortunately, just with one success, that's not enough to determine if he's lying. You need a critical success for insight to determine if someone's lying.
Push that 5 if you wanted to.
But you can push it if
I am going to push the 5.
Okay. Push the 5, and hopefully you get a success on that one. That's still only one success.
It's a merch.
Yep.
Okay. I'm just going to squint at him.
So tell me how you sort of, like, try to get more information from that insight.
Oh, very much going to be standing in his face, completely square-jawed, and just sort of squinting my eyes, very Clint Eastwood style. Just stare him down and see if it has any effect. And when it doesn't, just sort of turn on my heel and follow after her and see if there's maybe a back area where I can find some information on my own after his complete helpfulness.
Absolutely. All right.
And I'm going to go look for Iris.
Cool. You guys go and look for Iris. Let's switch back now to our friends who have, just moved to the crime lab. Let's move back. Yeah. There's no actual map for the crime lab. I'm sorry, folks. I do apologize. But
no combat in the crime lab?
No combat in the crime lab. Sorry. but
Oh,
there,
think about how much fun that could have been.
hey,
Acid being
listen,
thrown all over the place.
there is no champagne in the champagne room, or I should say, there's nothing else except champagne in the champagne. Oh, anyway, you guys entered the crime lab, which is sort of like down in the sort of lower levels of the LAPD headquarters. Percival, you know the crime lab really well. It's where you work. It's where your, well, shall we say, the person who you are most acquainted with in this world works as well. You and Oelsen move through the sort of sterile white halls of the crime lab and push a button on the wall to open the sliding doors into the interior area of this science facility. And there in front of you, sort of standing in the middle of the floor, looking up at you, is a cat. Sort of looks up at you and goes, "Meow."
Reach down and scratch its head.
Yeah, you know this cat very well. His name is Biscuits.
Hello there, Fuzzy.
You know as well that cats, as a species, don't really exist anymore. Well, very few animals as a species exist anymore. That they're genetically created. And this is no different. Biscuits is a genetically engendered cat. He's
You
an
missed the crime lab, kitty?
Animoid. He's an animoid. He's not an
I-
animal. I'm sorry, I did not give you the crime lab kitty. But yeah, Biscuits will get into more love and fan art from the players. Nice. Yes, just look. Meow. Speaking of fan art, I've got a handout. I'm gonna give it to you. So this is the RIT crime lab. You see that standing sort of between you and him is the cat. But standing on the other side, he sort of mumbles, "Biscuits, come." And the cat sort of bounds towards him and begins to sort of snake itself through his legs. This is Coco. Coco is the chief medical examiner of the RIT crime lab. And that's his office. There's Coco looking at a skull. And there's his cat. And Coco looks at the two of you, Percival and Oelsen, and says, "Hello. Hi, Percival. Welcome back.
How are you, Coco?
I'm well. Have you seen Mirren?
So what? I have not seen her yet.
Okay. When you see her, please tell her that she's late for morning shift."
Really?
Yes,
She's never late.
I know. That's what worries me.
That worries me too.
I tried to call her on her vid phone, but she did not pick up.
I will have to check into that.
Yes, thank you. How can I help you, Percival? Oh, hello. And he looks over at you, Oelsen. I don't think we've met.
Hi, I'm Oelsen.
Hello. He sort of like
Can
doesn't
you-
he doesn't look at you directly in the eyes, Oelsen. He sort of like looks at the floor.
Am I that scary?
I'm sorry?
Am I that scary? You can't look at me.
No.
Maybe
no,
I'm that ugly.
no,
It's
no.
okay. I can turn around.
No, that's quite all right. I just don't know what it is that you would like to have me do. What exactly you? How can I help you?
We're here about the body that came in. The replicant, Sander. See what
Ah.
you can tell us.
Yes, of course. You are assigned to that case?
Yes, indeed. The two of us.
I see. Yes. Okay. And he walks over to a wall of drawers, metal drawers, and presses a button, and out slides a metal tray with a dead body under a sheet. He says, "What
What can you
exactly would
tell
you like
us?
to know?"
How he died. Any other little inconsistencies, abnormalities,
Right.
anything that makes you go,
Yes, well, certainly. Oh, I should give you his mugshot, because his mugshot's awesome, so give me 1 second. I forget the name of this actor. He was in Blade Runner 2049, but he's really great. He's a fantastic actor. I do forget his name. I'll look it up during the break. But here is Coco.
Oh, that guy. Yeah,
David
I love him.
Deslamakian.
Thank you!
There you go.
Yeah. Look it up, man.
Such a great actor. He played Polka Dot Man.
He was also in The Dark Knight. He was
fantastic.
He's in the Ant-Man movies too. He's the hacker guy.
Yes, he's the Russian hacker guy. But yeah, one of the best character actors. I can't imagine anyone else. But he's in Blade Runner 2049, so he does survive this case. I won't say much more than that. But anyway, yeah. So that's Coco, yeah, and he says to you, Oelsen, yes. So as you can see, this is Nexus 9. This is Nexus 9 named Blade Runner. Sandor points to the large hole in his chest. He says, "You're more than welcome to observe, if you'd like." But
yes, please.
yes, Sandor was shot point blank, large caliber weapon, went right through his chest. The bullet has not been recovered.
Any other evidence that you might have found on him?
No, unfortunately not. We don't have any. We do not have the murder weapon itself, of course. If you have any additional evidence, I'm more than happy to discuss that with you. Yes.
Absolutely. I want to just observe the body, see if there's anything that maybe he might have missed.
Yeah. Go ahead and make a medical aid roll. Okay, 1 success. Suffice it to say that even with your experience here in the crime lab, Percival, don't really see much more than what Coco has just informed you. It's basically just that. This guy, Sandor, this replicant, shot point blank, very large caliber bullet, right through his chest and out the back.
All right.
Says if
Do you have any other questions, Oelsen?
Oh, yes, of course. Sort of like motions over to you, also not looking at you again.
I step closer to him, just because.
He swallows.
Is this all we were able to find? No.
Yes, no
weird
bullet was
residues,
found.
Smells,
Certainly,
things,
no,
extra.
it was not fired. We can see that, as of course you can see by no powder burns here, and he sort of motions around the wound, that this the bullet was not fired at extremely close range. But as I said, no bullet or murder weapon has been found. So beyond that, we are at a loss.
Do keep us up to date
Yes,
as
yes,
you
of
find
course.
more.
Yes, if you have any more evidence, more than happy to take a look.
Please do.
The cat jumps up, like on top of the body. Meow. Biscuits.
Give it
Down.
another scratch.
Biscuits. Down. Off the body, please.
Oh dear biscuits, please do not contaminate the evidence.
It's quite alright. He like slaps on a rubber glove. Biscuits, please. Biscuits like looks at Coco like meow, and then just scats.
I would like to give Miranda a call and see if I can locate her.
Mirren? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So in this case, you walk to the nearest vid phone, and attempt to reach out to her, probably at her home, I would assume. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Cool. So you, let me see here. Yeah, so you walk over to, there's a vid phone like in the hallway. Oelsen, you watch as Percival like walks out, punches a couple of numbers in, and you hear the phone ringing. Mirren's phone ringing. And no one picks up.
Is there any way to check to see if maybe she checked in this morning at the building and she's just in another part of the building doing something?
Yeah, I guess you could. You could, yeah. You sort of like, you could go to, like, reception.
Yeah.
Okay. Oelsen, is there anything else that you would like to do in headquarters while you're spending your shift here?
I really feel like that's about it.
Okay.
I'm gonna tag along with Percival.
Okay. Worthwhile noting that there are a couple of new pieces of evidence that have been entered into your KIAs since this time. You see the photo of the snake pit that's been entered into the KIA by Novak and Fenna. You also see the mugshot and information on this guy, Taffy Lewis. Pretty much nothing beyond that. A couple of notes here and there.
Does the bullet photo get uploaded?
The bullet photo has been uploaded, yes, actually.
Oh, share that with Coco.
Okay, so just as you're like walking down the hall to try to go to reception, you see this like photo of a bullet in Novak's hand. And you flip around, run back to the lab. Coco's like, he's like in the middle of something. He's like, yes, yeah, I'm sorry. What?
Yeah, I have the photo of the bullet.
Oh, you found the bullet.
Yeah, the bullet's been found.
Okay.
We don't have it here, but I got a photo.
Well, without the bullet itself, it may take me some time to do some examination. I might have to take some 3D images of it, utilizing some of my gear here in order to do it. So if you come back in one shift, I may have some more information regarding it.
We'll be back then.
Very good.
Head back to the front desk.
Okay. Oelsen, you and Percival walk out of the RIT crime lab and to the front desk, and the receptionist is there. Looks up at you. Hi, Percival. How you doing?
Not bad. How are you today?
I'm delicious. How are you?
Has Moran showed up today?
Married? No.
Checked in? Yeah.
No, she hasn't shown up. I called her at home, but she didn't pick up.
Is there any way to send a unit by?
I mean, we can put an APB
locator?
out for her if you'd like.
Yeah, she's never late. If she's not here, there's something wrong.
Sure. It's fine. Strange.
Has there been any notices, any accidents?
No, that's for sure. I would know about
All right.
it. I mean, I'm always here. And she taps her ear, and you see there's like a long metal sort of earplug that's like jacked into her ear, and like a small metal boom that's sort of sticking out of it towards her mouth. So
Okay.
if you need anything, you just call dispatch. We'll get you going.
Thank you, dear.
Oh, you're so welcome. Okay.
I see you have lots of friends.
Oh, yes, I do. But I can also make a lot of enemies. She taps her sort of long nails on the wooden desk. Just don't push me the wrong way.
Never.
I just kind of look at her and shake my head like, whatever. Turn back to Percival. Like, I wasn't actually talking to her. I was talking to you, but that's okay. Just neither here nor there. Let's just go.
Sounds good.
Okay. So that's essentially the first shift, folks. That's been your morning shift. Go ahead and
So
notate
talking
that
to
down.
Iris is going to be our afternoon.
Oh, no. I'm so sorry. I beg your pardon. I forgot about that. Let's continue on with Iris, and then after you're finished at the snake pit, that'll be your morning shift. So let's go back then. Thank you for reminding me. Let's go back to the snake pit.
Well, sorry. While I talk to Iris and Novak Snoops.
That's fine. I'm down for that. You, Fenna, are, of course, looking for Iris. You're at her. You're sort of along the long sort of hallway. You see dressing rooms, all vacated. They're all sort of filled with garish clothing. Some very revealing on hangers, mirrors, etc. The smell is a combination of cigarette smoke and sort of stale alcohol.
All right, so she's not in any of the dressing rooms. I guess I'll go check out this little backstage area.
Oh, no, you just haven't gotten through all the dressing rooms.
Oh, okay. Oh, sorry. I thought you said all vacant.
All vacant that you can see where you are.
Oh, okay. So I will then. I was here. I will first head in this direction. I'll poke my head in this one.
Yeah, nobody in there.
Poke my head in this one.
Nobody in there.
Poke my head backstage.
Yeah, you look at the backstage area, there's like a whole bunch of like discarded clothing and shoes back there. Nobody.
All right.
You do see a door that says stage entrance on the back of it, like right over here.
Okay.
That's most likely where the stage area would be if
Yeah.
the performers were to come back in, the back door.
I'll look in this one.
In there is an empty dressing room.
This one.
Aha. In that dressing room, you are able to see that there is a person who is, in fact, still there. And that's what she looks like. Just get you her. She sort of walks over here. This is her look.
Nice. I'll sort of, even though the door appears to be open, I'll sort of give a gentle tap sort of on the frame and say, excuse me, Iris?
She sort of like turns around and this sort of veil of smoke from a cigarette that she's been smoking sort of enshrouds her face. She's very pretty. She's got makeup that's clearly been smudged, and her mascara is running down her face, most likely from tears. You see that there's sort of like sparkly makeup on her face. Not quite sure if her hair is a wig or not, but she's very attractive, that's for sure. Reminds you of someone for a second. Fenna. But then you shake out of it.
Do you mind if I come in?
She looks at you and she says, "Who are you?"
Oh, my name is Fenna. I'm with the LAPD. We're investigating what happened here.
She sort of like pulls a terry cloth robe around her. You don't even need to make an insight check. She's just terrified. She's like, "What do you want from me?"
Oh, no. Oh, can I get through the door, please?
Oh yeah, sure. Sorry. Every door I'm gonna have to ask you to. Unless you need to go through it, I'll put you through. No worries.
All right, cool. I'll sort of just cross to her very calmingly and say, "Oh, no, darling, you're in no trouble at all. I just want to ask you a few questions about what happened here last night because you were here. Is that all right?"
Yeah, I guess. Sure. Whatever.
Have a seat. Do you want a drink?
No.
You look very
No,
shaken up.
I'm fine. I'm fine. She sort of sits down, just smoking, just chain smoking, one after the other.
I will sit down on one of the other couches, or I guess this is a couch, and light a cigarette of my own, and say, "I was talking to Taffy, and he said there were some men harassing you last night."
Her eyes flit to yours, and she says, Yeah, they were booing and throwing things, and then there was a fight. I don't know. There's this like weird pale guy. He sort of like stood up and started saying all these like yelling at them. I mean, I just don't. I don't know what he was doing.
Can I tell if she's a replicant or not?
The only way to determine if someone is a replicant of, let's say, Nexus 8 or 9 is to use your KIA unit to do an ocular scan of them.
Okay, I don't want to freak her out, so I'm not going to do that. Well,
but it's worthwhile noting that Taffy Lewis did say that he doesn't mind. Yeah, he doesn't mind employing people of all kinds.
Well, I went to, like, as I light my cigarette and say, "I'm sorry, I didn't actually give you my full name. My name is, I'm FN9239. And, well, the men who were harassing you, they were human supremacists, were they not?"
I don't know. One of them kind of looked familiar, but this kind of old, pudgy guy, like balding, weird, like his skin was all messy and gross. I would never go near him in 1,000 years, but like he was just saying awful stuff. Like, your skin is like, I want to like tear your skin off and see the metal under. I don't even understand what he was like. It's and she sort of looks down at the ground. She's like, I guess you can tell I'm like you too.
Well, I didn't know, of course, but I did suspect, considering who was harassing you. And this other man, the one who I guess was defending you?
Yeah.
Have you seen him before?
No, I don't know who he is. Never seen him before.
Well, thank you very much for your time, and I do hope you're able to get some rest before your next show.
Thanks. Thank you.
Do be careful out there. If you need an escort to get you home, please let me know and I'll arrange it.
I think I'll be all right. Taffy said he's got a metro cab coming for me soon.
Okay. Well, you take care, dear. And I'll kind of pat her on the hand and then show myself out, quietly closing the door behind me.
Okay. Novak, in the meantime, while this is occurring, you've been looking for what?
Any sort of observations? It seems to me if this guy's this scummy, he's got dirty tapes. He's got this, filth to sell for when people can't appreciate their performers on stage. I wonder if he's not doing some sort of slimy side business and trying to like make money off of like having vids of all the stuff going on. And maybe that's his bias of assuming that everything is being filmed with technology all around us. But knowing what anything down to the hand KIAs can do for technology, I guess I'm looking around to see if he's got any sort of secret recordings or like a security office because it's a business and wants to be, protected for insurance and stuff.
Yeah.
To be like, we did everything within the business's power.
Absolutely.
So I'm snooping around for some sort of room back here if possible.
You look through pretty much the entire interior of the snake pit. You walk through, you see the bar. There are some like some smashed bottles and damage to the interior. That this bar brawl probably occurred right around the bar.
Okay.
You see. Let me just zoom out a bit, so everybody can see exactly what you can. So that seems to corroborate Taffy's story that there was in fact a bar brawl here. You also note that there are some vid phones over here that, it's a bar, it's in public area, vid phones are to be used, of course. You don't see any kind of like secret area that Taffy would be keeping video footage or anything like that. There's a staff room, but that's like an office really more than anything. It doesn't have any kind of computers or anything like that seems to indicate that Taffy had, some kind of nefarious scheme.
And then I guess if that's the case, I'm gonna go out to the loading platform here.
Yeah.
Did you, for making the connection, you said I had a guy, Corgi, an asset. So I'm thinking about, is it gonna make more sense to like jump him and lean on him like classic sort of detective style asset, or should we be like calling and having him dig for information because he's a prouder contact?
I would say the latter rather than the former.
Okay. And I'm gonna step out into the loading platform and make a call.
Okay. You can't make a call from your phone. You'd have to go to a vid phone to do it.
Okay. And I'm gonna go to these vid phones right over here then and make that call.
Okay. Cool beans.
I'm gonna call him and see if he knows anything about what the humans first are been arms about, or if he's heard any whispers of something more rumbling.
Yeah, sure.
Any rumblings.
So you call up Corgi. After like the third ring, he picks up, and you see his face in the vid screen. He's got sort of like a mousy, brown, sort of half-filled-in mustache, and just sort of wavy hair that sort of comes across in a sort of a big flop. His eyes are green and intense, and he's got kind of bad acne, unfortunately. And he sort of like rubs his eye. He's like, hello?
Jorge.
What the hell? What time is it?
Novak. Well, it's earlier than either of us normally gets up, but unfortunately, I'm awake and I need some help.
Fuck. Novak. Why is it going to be got it like at this time? All right, Jesus. He stretches out.
When was the last time I actually called you? Be serious.
Okay, fine. What do you want?
Looking for information. Anything about the Humans First group?
Oh, you mean the supremacists? What about them?
Yeah. Well, have you heard any rumblings recently? Anybody bragging, running around? Maybe in the last couple days, maybe last night. Looking for information. Maybe somebody's had a choice prize, or if you've heard of anything interesting going on. Some weird stuff coming up.
What do you?
RDU's dealing with something, and I need to be a little bit on the hush hush. But you can tell me if anybody's squawking loudly. I can go deal with it, and then you can tell people you helped make the right call in the right place at the right time.
Listen, is this about that shooting at the snake pit? I think I hear the music in the back. You at the snake pit?
Were you here last night? Is that why you've got a hangover?
Not. No, I was nowhere near that place. I just hear things. Go ahead.
Your favorite bullshit check.
With a single insight, you don't detect he's lying, and you detect sort of like curiosity as his main emotion. He says, "Listen, Novak.
All right.
Let me do you a favor so you can do me a favor and leave me alone. Yeah? You wanted me to get you dirt on what happened. That's fine. Might take some time. Might get you in the afternoon, but I know people who know people."
I can do that.
Go ahead and make your connections roll.
Yarp.
Whew,
that's
2
crit.
successes. Okay. He says, "All right, fine. I'll do you solid. Talk to you in the afternoon, okay?"
Sounds like a plan.
And you just see connection ended.
Perfect. That's something anyway. And that's that count as like a connections promotion point or no?
No, you do not need to spend a promotions point when leveraging assets. It's just a connections roll.
Great. In that case, I'm going to hang up the call and walk back on over to Fenna.
I was say, seeing him step out of the booth, I'll unfold myself from the stool where I've been waiting. So, well, I think I've dug up all I can dig up here, though I do want to check in with those uniforms out front on our way out.
What are your thoughts on that gentleman you mentioned? Would you like to see if we can pick up a little dessert on the way back for lunch, or just head back to the station and set something out for him?
If he's still there, I wouldn't mind having a quick chat.
You want to be the mouse or the cat?
Why can't I be both?
Well, I gotta be able to help somewhere, otherwise you're just having fun off in the corner.
Oh, but that's the way I like it, sweetheart. Okay, fine. Let's just see where it takes us, shall we? And she's gonna start walking out.
Okay. I'll walk you guys out if you'd like. No
But
problem.
as she
I'll give her a couple bar stools lead, yeah.
as she walks past Taffy, she's gonna kind of drag a hand lightly across her shoulder and say, "Thank you so much for your help. Perhaps I'll see you around sometime."
Yeah, sure. Tell your friend Flatfoot over there to buzz off.
Fuck yourself, as I walk by him.
No manners, she says and shakes her head. Makes the way to the front door.
Okay. Outside, there is, in fact, that rather imposing large gentleman, who I'm going to sort of bring onto the board so you guys can see him. He's right there. He's still outside in the rain.
If you let me through the door.
Oh, yes, of course.
Thank you.
No.
I'll sort of glance over my shoulder at Novak and then just in a threatening way, but in a casual way, make my way towards this guy.
Okay.
Novak's gonna lean on the door frame for a minute.
And I'm just going to approach him and say, "You were staring at me. Have we met?"
Sort of like looks around. He's like, No. No, we weren't. We haven't met. I mean,
Then why were you looking at me?
cause, I don't know. I thought I recognized you.
From where?
Around.
You're not one for words, are you?
He just sort of looks at you.
Why are you out here?
Why are you asking?
Well, everyone is here to be a gawker and a looky-loo, and you... I don't know. You seem like you have more of a reason, and I'm curious.
Make a manipulation roll.
Two successes.
That's a crit.
Mm-hmm.
He says, "Listen, I think I know what happened last night, but I don't really trust anyone.
Oh, you can trust me.
You
You were the one.
are you police?
Yes. You were the one who was defending Iris. Why?
Yeah, some rep haters started like throwing and yelling at her, and yeah, like
But you defended her.
yeah. I mean, I did what was right. That fucking Gel Skyler guy, that Kill Magazine guy. Yeah, he was one of them. What a piece of shit.
An insight check him. I want to see what his feelings are right now.
Okay.
Oh, fuck you.
Okay,
I'm
so no successes.
gonna push the 5. I know I can't.
You can
push
only
the
push the 5.
Yep.
Oh dear.
Damn it, balls!
That is
Christ.
another point of
Okay.
stress. It's another point of
Okay.
stress. So you're down to two stress. Or sorry, 2 resolve.
Okay. 2 resolve. I know.
Okay.
Okay,
This
so I
is
can't
just
get
a
an 8.
morning shift.
I know, Christ.
I love it.
Take some downtime soon. Fuck
Yeah.
it.
So yeah, you can't determine his feelings at all.
Alright. And say, well. Styles, right? That's your name?
How'd you know?
Taffy told me.
Yeah, that's my name.
I'll tell you what, Styles. Why don't you tell me what you think happened?
He says, the fight happened. And then there was a bang, and some guy got shot. And yeah, that's it. And then I ran.
Do you have any idea who had the gun?
No idea.
You sure?
Yeah. Why, you don't believe me?
I didn't say that. I just... Sometimes in traumatic situations, we forget things, or we think we're sure of something, and then it turns out something else happened. So I'll tell you what. I'm gonna pull a card out of my pocket. I hand to him and say, if you think of anything else, so you remember anything else, you give me a call, okay?
Sure.
Here,
Takes the
wait.
card.
I'm gonna take it back really quickly. I'm gonna scrawl my home number on the back.
Okay.
Say, if you can't reach me here, try me here. And then I'll hand it to him.
Okay. He takes it, he looks at it, he goes, your name is Fenna?
Yes.
Okay.
It's nice to meet you, Styles.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Can I make an observation on that whole thing, even though I couldn't hear any of it, like visual observation?
Yeah, sure. What are you looking for?
Any sort of body language or
That's an
shifting of
insight.
the feet that...
That's an
Okay.
insight roll. Observation is looking for specific things. If you're looking at people to determine emotions, that's all insight.
Okay. Yeah, can I make an insight check then?
Do it.
Alright, one success.
Yeah, his outward emotion is fear. That's
Not
his
like a
strongest one.
hostile fear.
Not now, no.
Okay. Better than nothing. And then I think we're gonna walk back to the spinner and sort of just catch each other up on the two details because we sort of divided that.
Okay. In your KIA, you now see that there's evidence that the bullet picture that you entered, Novak, has gone to the RIT crime lab. That Percival has actually entered it in, and that in a shift, Coco should know more about it. You also see the information from Percival about the information that he got from the Esper wall, which is the picture of Leia leaving the snake pit and the serial number of the metro cab that she got into.
I'll text him and ask if they've already started to file for information on that cab, or if that's something we should be.
You can just call them from your spinner if you wanted to.
Yeah, call from the spinner.
Okay.
Oh, actually, I know it's annoying. Can I backtrack 1 second? Is there a way to take a photo of that gentleman that Fenna was talking to discreetly?
KIA through the KIA,
Yeah.
you mean? Yeah, absolutely. Your KIA has a photo unit on it, so you can take.
I want to be
pictures
able
of
to upload that photo and see if we've got any criminal or
information on Styles. Yeah.
non-classified files.
Yeah. So yeah, you could take a picture of him if you want to do it discreetly. I'd recommend that you do it with a, I would say a stealth roll.
Yeah, do that.
Yeah, stealth is good. Let's make it happen.
Nice.
Stealthy senor.
Okay, very stealthy. Yeah, you're just sort of like you're looking at your watch and you take a picture of the guy. I think I actually
that
have
way,
a.
yeah.
I think I also have a a mugshot of Styles too. So let me give you.
Oh,
Nice.
okay.
Let me give you the mugshot of him. Here's Styles. There he is. There's our handsome boy.
Aw, he's got a sweet face.
Okay. Like a young Vincent D'Onofrio.
Sure.
Or what's his name from Barry?
Yes, the guy who's fucking what's his name from Barry? I forgot his name. I know what you're talking about. But yeah, I mean, clearly very pale, potentially albino.
Okay.
Very tall. All right. That ends the end of the first shift, folks. So go ahead and mark any notes that you have. It's time for the second shift. I would assume that you're going to call up Percival and Oelsen and let them know what's going on.
We have evidence we need to drop by the crime lab.
Okay.
I am going to ask Novak to drop me by my place so I can grab something
All right.
on the way back to the station.
Cool. All right. So you guys will come out of that particular area of Sector 4, walk through the streets, smoggy as they are in the morning, and then enter your spinner and take off. And I think it's a good point to take a break. So when we come back, we'll see what happens further in today's case. So don't go anywhere, folks. We've got more Blade Runner. How's a good 5-minute break for everybody? Does that work out? We're good.
Sounds
We're all-
good.
Cool beans. All right, so we'll come back in 5 minutes, and when we come back, we'll have more Blade Runner. Cool beans? Let's go.
Nice.
That's good.
See you guys in 5. All right, folks, we're back. All right, so it looks like you guys are now in the day shift. Where is it that you would like to be dropped off? Fenna, you said you wanted to be dropped off at your place?
Yes, I'm just going to, as we are loading back into the spinner, I'm say, do me a favor and drop me off over by my place. I just need to grab something and then call me and I'll meet up with whoever, wherever.
Okay. So the spinner sort of floats down through the sort of smog-filled day to... Where is your apartment, Fenna? Like, in what sector would it be?
It's a very good question. It's probably because I probably live in the LAPD housing. So it's probably in Sector 5. I don't think she lives anywhere fancy.
Okay, so I'll bring it on down to here.
The
Novak.
LAPD housing is there.
That's true. Fair.
So, yeah.
All right.
So you...
Do you want to wait, or do you want me to
Yeah,
just meet up with you?
I mean, how long do you think you're going to be? An hour? Shift?
Less than an hour.
Could put my feet up.
Is this
Cup of
you
coffee around
asking
here
for
somewhere.
for downtime?
No, I'm not doing downtime. I'm doing
Cool.
something else.
Just making sure.
Yeah, no. That's why I said not a shift, less than an hour.
Gotcha.
I am going to pop up to my apartment, sort of take my coat off, go to the bathroom, splash some cold water on my face, and then head out into the living room. And the timing is perfect because I'm going to pick up my Animoid kitty, Mazarin, and just kind of sit there for a second and pet the kitty and feel the softness of his Animoid fur underneath my hands. And I'm going to regain a point of resolve.
That's
by
correct.
interacting with
Because
my signature item.
your signature item is indeed your Animoid cat,
Is
Mazarin.
my cat. Yes.
That's great. Love
So
that.
Brutus chose the perfect time to jump in my lap. And then feeling probably about like 10 minutes, I've calmed myself down. I ditch my slutty club clothes, straighten myself out, maybe reapply a little bit of the makeup that I wiped off before heading into the snake pit, and head back down to the spinner.
Okay.
All right, let's go.
While she's been doing that, Novak's been sort of looking at the bullet. Does it have any sort of markings or serial number on the back?
No, there's no serial number. It's just completely melded out of shape. It's just mushroomed out to absolutely, distended out to ridiculous proportions. So you wouldn't be able to see anything left on it.
Does that tell me, the fact that it's mushroomed out that much, does it tell me anything about impact or, like, distance for firing?
From your perspective, you wouldn't know. You'd need to bring it to the crime lab.
Okay, then I'm just probably fiddling with that, and if maybe gotten a cup of coffee if there's something within sight of the spinner.
Brenna. Percival and Oelsen, you guys have been at LAPD headquarters all morning. What do you guys want to do with your day shift? You do have some leads. I'm going to remind you of where your leads are. Right, so you guys have gone to the crime lab and the mainframe. You guys have looked in the snake pit. One of the other leads was going to the Wallace Corp HQ, which our friend Holden specifically recommended that you do, but do it with a very light touch. Also, it's worthwhile noting, Leia had an apartment, so it's very likely that if you just go and checked out her digs, that would make sense. Also noting that this guy, Jel Schuyler, who's the publisher of Kill Magazine, well, if he has something to do with it, maybe he knows something about it.
I think it's a little suspicious that we had a Blade Runner die last night, and we have a lab tech missing this morning. So I would actually like to go to Marin's apartment and see if we can track her down.
Okay, great.
Take Oelsen with me.
Yeah, sure. Oelsen, do you want to go with Percival, or do you want to do something on your own?
He looks a little too squishy to go on his own. I'll go with him.
All right. Cool. I would say his Marin's apartment, her apartment, is actually probably pretty close to headquarters. Probably between headquarters and the LA courthouse. So it's just a short walk to Marin's apartment. You push the elevator, head up through this sort of smoky, veiled shaft to her apartment, walk up to her door. It says, It says "fuck you skin job" on the front of it.
That's a good sign. Is the door shut? Is it locked?
It's shut.
Is it
Take a
locked?
picture of that.
Is it locked?
Yeah.
You try the doorknob. It is unlocked.
Take a picture of the door first before going in.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna draw my PKD and gently push open the door and peek inside.
Okay. You take out your gun.
Same.
Both of you. Peek inside. You don't hear anything. You don't see anything.
Push the door open all the way and carefully enter.
Let's turn this down just a smidge. Push the door carefully. Are you going stealthily?
Yes.
Then who has the lowest rating on stealth?
It's probably me. I have a 6d6.
I have a D6 as well, but my agility is a B. a
It's just
10.
the stealth rating. Don't worry about your agility.
Okay.
Just the stealth rating itself. So if
So
you
I
both
guess we're
have,
both 6.
yeah. If you both are C's on stealth, go ahead and either one of you can make that stealth roll then.
Go ahead.
And you're making it for both of you.
Oh, good. Without advantage, just normal.
Just normal. Okay. Do you want to push that 2 to get a single success?
Yeah, we're gonna
Potentially.
try that. Hopefully.
Okay, you can just push the 2. Oh dear. So that is a natural 1 on both. So that will earn you a point of... Actually, wait. That's a nat 1 on stealth. Actually, that does damage to you, from what I remember.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a physical skill, so that actually does damage to you. So, like,
That's exciting.
as you open the door, like, really, unfortunately, loudly, as sort of like you try to be stealthy, the door just hits the back wall and rebounds against you, Oelsen, and hits you, like, square in the nose. Oh, God damn it! Your nose begins to bleed. You take a point of damage. So you're down to 5.
Alright.
Very loud.
Well, they probably heard us now, so just go ahead and enter and then sweep and clear
Yeah.
everything.
That.
Okay, you sweep and clear, making your way through the apartment. You see the beautiful, if somewhat smog-filled vista of Los Angeles from the apartment, but no sign of Merritt in the apartment.
Any sign of distress? Any sign
Make an
of
observation.
I would like to make one as well.
Go for it. If it's a group, that's fine. Observation. That's 0 successes on yours and 2 on yours, Percival. So that's a critical success. So you look around, although Oelsen, you don't see anything, maybe because the blood is still like coming out of your nose, so you're not able to really see it as well. But Percival, you look through the apartment, you see that all of Baron's clothes are gone.
Like she's packed up. What about the bathroom or like toothbrushes and junk like that missing?
Everything. Beds. The bed is, obviously the sheets are still on the bed, but all of her personal effects, for the most part, except for like the occasional, like all of the food is still in the fridge. All of her cutlery
Like she
and all that
left in a
jazz.
hurry?
Maybe. You see pictures on the mantle of her apartment where her, her vid phone is, where her Esper is. In fact, there's a picture of Mirren and Percival on the mantle.
I look at him out of the corner of my eye.
Oh, not what you think. It's more of a obnoxious big sister thing.
Uh-huh. Okay.
I will snatch that though.
Okay.
But nothing else seems out of the ordinary.
No. I mean, besides the fact that all of her stuff is gone. That's kind of out of the ordinary.
Yeah.
Doesn't seem promising. Doesn't seem right. Maybe we could talk to some of the neighbors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, is there cameras in the hallway, anything like that?
No cameras in the hallway, no. Esper, although it certainly takes pictures and video of, specifically pictures actually, of public places, it doesn't go into private apartments for the most part.
Okay.
Has my nose stopped bleeding yet?
Oh yeah, you stuffed it full of tissues. You're good.
All right. Just double checking.
Is there any, I don't know, case files or anything laying around?
Yeah, you don't see any case files laying around now.
Okay.
She kept her work for the most part at the crime lab. She never really brought work home.
All right. I guess head back to the crime lab.
Okay.
She
Oh.
live in the like the police apartments, LAPD area apartment housing?
No, she
Or
didn't.
she off somewhere else?
She didn't live in the LAPD apartment housing. She'd like to keep away from most of the
Away
folks.
from that?
Yeah,
Okay.
but clearly not enough to escape the eyes of those who knew her to be a replicant.
Right.
Was there any hangouts any places that she went to that I know about?
No, she actually kept to herself for the most part. She's like a workaholic, right? Mirren really kind of just worked, slept, ate, and talked to you, of course. Worthwhile stating that you guys have been on the force for a little under a year. And you've been in service for just about a year, since 2036.
Okay. Yeah, I guess just head back to the crime lab, poke around her desk maybe,
Okay.
see if I can find anything there.
Okay, that'll be your
Okay.
like going through her stuff and checking on her stuff will be something you'll be doing for your day shift. Oelsen, is there anything that you want to do separate from Percival's stuff?
Well, while we're checking apartments, I would think that maybe Leah's apartment, go from one apartment to the next, would make sense to me.
It's not too far away, actually. So if you
Yeah.
wanted to check out her apartment, you could do that as well.
Yeah.
Well, if that's close, I'll just head with her and then head back to the crime lab.
Okay, that's totally fair. So we'll do that in as you guys move to Leia's apartment. Let's switch back then to our friends. My God, I can't believe I'm losing my mind. Fenna and Novak. Yes. What are you guys up to?
If they're checking out apartments, we're probably heading over to Wallace Corp to make our expected appearance with the
You're
replicant
gonna drop this
division.
shit off at the crime lab first, though?
Oh yeah, we shouldn't.
Technically, we have things to drop off at the crime lab, and at least 2 new people that we should be looking for data on in the database.
If you do that, it will take a shift to do it. And then you would be able to go to the Wallace Corp in the afternoon.
Right.
I'm fine with that.
All right. So you
Because
guys...
we do need to get this blood sample to the crime lab as soon as we can.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right. So you guys will head back then from your apartment back to LA headquarters. I'm going to move, just so I can keep track, I'm going to move Percival and Oelsen over here because you guys are going to Leia's apartment. And I'm going to move Novak and Fenna to here just so they are sort of seen separately. Looks like we got a 2 and 2 thing going on. Maybe that'll switch up throughout the miniseries. But I kind of like it's kind of like a little Law and Order thing going on. A little.
That's kind of what I was feeling. Yeah.
Yeah,
Right?
Which one of you guys is Stellar?
not me.
Yeah, not you. Okay, so If that's the case, then yeah, you guys will go by the crime lab to visit our friend Coco, who you guys haven't met yet, at least. So you head on down to Coco, and you walk again.
I immediately
into the thing.
go to Biscuit as soon as I go in.
Yeah, the cat sort of like bounds up, sort of sensing and or smelling the animoid cat fur on you.
Mm-hmm.
Sort of like coiling itself around you. You see Coco, of course, there, still checking out a variety of sources in the crime lab itself. Looks at you.
I immediately pick up Biscuit. I'm just like, hello, sweet thing. And she's just going crazy with animoid kitty love.
Coco looks at you and says, hello, how can I help you?
Evidence.
Yes, what?
And then Novak's going to present the photos of the blood sample, or if we collected any in like a little vial or something.
I assume we collected an actual blood sample.
Yes, you did, yeah.
That's right. There was an officer on the scene. I'm sure some of that was directly. We're just here to speed things up and make sure that this particular case gets put properly through the right channels because of the nature of two blood runners going under. Can you make that happen?
Yes, of course. You have the sample and the bullet. I saw a picture of it, but
Yep.
the space speed things up.
Drop the bullet on his desk. Drop the blood sample gently next to it, and I've got some names for you as well.
Names of what?
People, I need information.
We're going to go look that up in the database ourselves, Novak.
Yes, I'm afraid you're going to have to do that at the database. You can certainly do it on your KIA, but you could do it at the database, of course, in the database section, if you'd
I
like.
was hoping I could just take a coffee break and make you do all the work, but I guess if I have to do my job, I can go do my job.
He just stares at you like no humor at all.
No heel. All right.
Forgive him. His sense of humor is not for everyone. Come on, Novak. And she's going to take him by the elbow and steer him out of the crowd.
Okay. You give him the bullet, you give him the blood. You'll see him probably, if you'd like to come back to him, or give him the shift of time that it will take in order for him to analyze that information. He will do so. So you'll probably get that information in the afternoon. Okay. Head on over to the section of the LAPD which is assigned to the mainframe and Esper wall. Now, you guys have seen this before, of course. You've used it several times on other cases. The mainframe is on one side. The Esper wall, of course, takes up pretty much the entire wall, spanning probably, a good city block, perhaps, just 30 feet tall, enormous amount of screens and information all being analyzed and data mined for just whatever it can spend its trillions of gigabytes of information on. What do you want to do?
I want to see if I can pull up anything on Styles.
On Styles? Okay. Let me see. Let's see. First make your tech roll, please.
With advantage because I'm here, right?
That is correct.
Good, because I need it. No successes.
No
I
successes.
will push. I will push. Where is my everything? Oh, fuck you!
Wow!
Nice!
Woof.
What the hell?
Woofity.
These dice do not like Sarah.
These dice really want me to make a baseline test. I'm
Wow.
I'm really glad that I went home and pet my kitty.
Fuck.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Jesus. Snap. That's 2 points of stress.
Fenna's having a rough day, man.
What's your resolve at, Fenna? 1!
I'm
Oh, boy.
1 point away from a baseline test, yeah.
Oh my god.
Novak is probably going to see the frustration.
Fenna's just typing. She's like,
weird-
fuck. And she's like slamming on the keyboard. All these texts are looking at her like,
this
what the
tracks because she's frustrated that she couldn't get a read on him in person, which is what she's supposed to be good at, and now she can't get anything off of the computer. Like, yeah, she's pissed.
Mm-hmm. Fair.
Novak is going to see that and more in a burst of acknowledging that she's stressed than actually like pure empathy. Novak is going to put a hand on her shoulder and say, all right, let me try. Maybe there's just not a lot in there. Maybe you're not doing anything wrong with your searching.
He's just gonna shove angrily away from the desk and like pull
And
out
while
a
she rolls
cigarette.
away, not even going to sit down, just going to stand and type and be like,
Yeah,
all right.
and just light a cigarette and
Not
start
herself.
pacing behind him.
I also get advantage because we're at the Esper wall?
That's correct.
Great, because I have also shitty rolls. And it's not much better.
Well,
I'll
Now-
push it for shits and giggles.
hey, folks, I just want to remind you of your specialties. Because if you don't remind
have
yourself of specialties, if you don't have any specialties, potentially because you didn't get them because of the pre-gens, but if you have specialties, you should know them so that they can be aiding you in certain situations. Just saying out loud, in case. All right, so we're talking about a pushed tech roll here. You can push those
Correct.
twos.
Let's push them both. Why not?
Pushing them both.
We're here for a short time, not a bad time.
Oof.
That's a 5 and a 3.
That's still no
is
successes,
better.
but you did not get a stress point, Novak.
Failure.
But still no successes. So tell me what this looks like. Fenna's frustrated. She's typing. She's slamming the keyboard. Nobody's doing anything to stop her. Novak,
I'm
you
now
come in.
pacing behind him and smoking while he does it.
Novak, you come in. You're trying to find information on Styles. It's just like error.
I think we're trying, like, visual descriptions, criminal records, stuff that seems obvious to us, but we're not... I don't know. What are we trying that might fail? Associates of the Snake Pit. Trying to find, like, bank records from the people. Like, going down the wrong rabbit holes that clearly are not the right direction, and then maybe changing direction too often. Like, just giving up halfway through an idea when we're like, there's nothing quick here. This is not
This
effective.
useless. Where's Percival when we need him?
Is that all you guys want to do here in the mainframe? Because you failed to look for... Unfortunately, you failed to find any information on Styles. But there are other things that you said you may want to do.
I will look for information on Skylar now.
On Skylar?
Yes. And if I fail, I'm not pushing it because fuck that.
Okay.
Okay, there we go.
There we
Crit
go, 2
success on
successes.
Skylar.
2 successes, and you get your information on Skylar, who is the... if I remember correctly, yes, he is the publisher of Kill Magazine.
And the Humans First guy, yes.
And what seems to be a member of the Humans First, or some kind of a movement that seems to be in some way a human. What's the word? What am I looking for?
Supremacist?
Human supremacist. That's right. Yes, human supremacist organization. Thank you. Wow, the racers are coming down my apartment way. Okay, so yeah, the let's see. With a success on that, let me see what you get from the mainframe. This is
The critical success.
critical success. Yeah. So okay, we're talking Skylar here. Yeah.
Yes.
Let me tell you what you get. Jail Skylar, the infamous publisher of Kill Magazine. You see a couple of articles on him. Mainly, he's like a genius at shamelessly manipulating the ignorant masses and stirring controversy for profit, potentially. Noted traits: arrogance, aggression, boisterousness. You see a picture. I'll show you a picture of him because I've got that in my mug shots. Here we go. Gel Skylar. Here he is.
There's a face. Yeah, he looks like a nice guy.
Would we have interacted with him in any strong way?
No.
Case-related stuff before?
Absolutely not. No.
Anything about him in regards to Humans First?
No associations with Humans First.
Great, I love dead ends.
It does give
Perhaps
the
for-
it does give the address of Kill Magazine's publishing house, though.
Well, we could go and follow up, make him a person of interest, but would that be a bad idea if he is
I don't
actually
think-
connected.
I don't think it's an appropriate use of our time right now. He might be another dead end. I feel like we need more information. We're kind of spinning in circles.
I'm going to give you this one because you guys, like you said, seem to be spinning a little bit. You remember that the Esper picture that you took, or I should say, was given to you on your KIA by Percival
Yes.
and by Oelsen. The enhanced version of that gave you the ID number of the Metro cab.
Yeah.
We should follow up with that cab. Maybe call the company, see if we can.
You
find
don't
out where it
need
went.
to. That's the great thing about the
Oh, okay.
mainframe. Make a connections roll, and it'll let you know where the Metro cab dispatch is located.
I would like to do the thing I'm good at.
Willem
Please
Novak,
do
you
that.
know
Nice.
for certain you know where the Metro cab dispatch is, so that you can actually find out where this cab may have gone.
I know a guy. I don't like the guy, but I know the guy. And we will head on over in the direction of that dispatch office.
Okay, so that's going to be your day shift activities.
Okay.
Here, so you've gone to the crime lab. You've given the materials to Coco. You've gone to the mainframe, done some additional investigations, found this stuff. Do you upload this to your KIA?
Yes.
Yeah, all of it.
All of it goes to your KIA. Fantastic. Which would then, of course, go right to Holden. All of your materials that you present as evidence go to Holden. You can choose if you want to not, but that's up to you.
I'll have to go to him for now. We have no reason not to.
Sure.
Nothing to withhold yet.
Olsen and Percival, as you guys are walking to Leia's apartment, you see additional KIA information with regards to the investigations that that Fenna and Novak are doing. Specifically, investigations on the Kill magazine publisher Jel Schuyler. You see his picture pop up. Olsen, how do you react to that?
He's not exactly my favorite person, so I kind of narrow my eyes and kind of sigh under my breath, just like frustrated, but trying to think of it more black and white. We don't have evidence yet. Don't get mad yet. Get mad later once we have evidence. Those are the thoughts going through my head.
Understandable.
But not pleased, but not surprised.
I got it. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. So Leia lives in a small studio apartment in Sector 5, not far from LAPD HQ. Actually, if you've seen Blade Runner 2049, it's actually quite similar to Kay's apartment on the... take a look in that movie and you'll see what I mean. She lives on the 13th floor. And since her address is actually in the data file, you know exactly where she lives. You go to the building and see that the elevator's out of order.
Hey. Stairs will be fun.
Percival, you look towards the stairwell. It's filthy and covered in graffiti.
Also, you're muted, Percival. There you go.
Wonderful. Just what I wanted. Dirty stairs.
Speaking of dirty stairs, you climb the stairs and receive a couple of dirty stares from a few of these residents looking at you, Percival, specifically.
I glare
Ignore 'em.
hardcore
Keep
back
going.
at every single one that stares at him wrong.
What do you do? I'm sorry, I missed that.
Every person that looks at him bad, I'm giving them that mama bear death stare, like you better back up look.
Alrighty.
Like just step back.
Cool. You get to the 13th floor. It's a little bit. I mean, walking up 13 flights of stairs. It's an event, shall we say? And when you get to the 13th floor, you look along for the apartment for Leia, and you see the words again, "skin job," spray painted on Leia's door.
Take another
Take a
picture of it.
picture.
As you take a picture and you hear the A large burly man, and sort of next to him, a somewhat sort of scrawny, almost sort of rat-looking guy, sort of comes up from behind you, talking to you, Percival, and says, "Hey, you friends with that skin job?"
I haven't met her, no.
Sort of looks you up and down.
Have you seen her lately?
Nah. You skin jobs too? Looks you up and down.
I prefer artificial person.
He sort of crosses his arms and says, well, you ain't going nowhere. And he stands in front of the door to Leia's apartment.
I think you need to back up and get out of our way. I put my hand on my gun.
Make a manipulation roll. Oh, you want to push it? He stands there. He's just staring at you.
So if I push both...
You can push both.
Sorry.
If you get a 1,
Sorry.
it's going to cause you some stress.
If she gets a 1, it'll hurt her. She's human.
This is a manipulation. I think if this is not a physical ability, so it may cause stress.
Oh, right. It varies on humans.
Yeah. Okay, that's 1 success. I'd say that's enough. He sort of like looks at you, and he sees your hand on your gun. He's like, "Yeah, fuck you. You ain't worth it." And he sort of like sidles out of the way.
Check the door.
I continue to glare at them as they move past. I'm worth more than you know, and you better stay away.
Okay. Let me just check something here. No, that's not it. It's this one. Okay. Let me move you to a map. Now, hopefully this works. If it doesn't, then I'm just gonna go ahead and turn the lighting off, but we'll see. Okay. Can you guys see that? I'm gonna zoom out just a smidge. Oh, that does not work. I'm gonna turn off the lighting. It's cool. At least until you guys get in the apartment. Let me just turn the lighting off on this map. I don't know why the dynamic lighting is not working, but that's okay. Maybe because it's daylight? Maybe that's the reason why? No, it doesn't work. Alright, I'm just gonna turn the fucking dynamic lighting off. No worries. Done. Off. Now everybody can see everything. So yeah, you're standing in front of the door to her apartment. What did you say you wanted to do, Percival?
I wanted to check the door.
It's
Is it
locked.
Locked. Okay. Do we have any way of picking a lock?
You can make a tech roll to pick it. Everything is digital,
Okay.
baby. That's a success. Yeah.
Nice.
So you bypass the lock on Leia's door. Boop, 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 boop. And the apartment is able to be entered. I'm gonna move you guys inside.
Right. Once again, well, I guess, well, I won't draw my gun on this one, but I'll keep my hand on it and scan the room.
Yeah, so the apartment's like sort of long and narrow. Certainly longer and narrower than Mirren's apartment. Long hallway, there's a bathroom off here to the right. Kitchen offset to the right as well. You see a sort of a lounge area over here towards the north area. There's a fold-out bed that comes out of the wall and the living area. And then there's a window that overlooks a large sort of billboard across the way. That's showcasing... yeah, it would be showcasing Wallace Synthetics.
Okay. I guess move myself into the living room, and then I wanted to just search the place, look for anything of interest.
All right. Oelsen, what are you doing? Oops.
I'm going to close the door and lock it behind us.
All right.
so that those lovely people don't follow us in.
Good idea. No problem.
And then, yeah, start. Since he's going that way, I'll come around and through. Well, can't get through those doors. I'm gonna go in through to the kitchen.
Which doors do you want to open? I'll
Or-
just move you to the rooms that you'd like me to move to.
I was gonna go through the bathroom and that way.
Okay. Yeah, you
Yep.
look in the bathroom, look in the kitchen. I'll just you go that way while Percival goes out the other way.
Yep.
All right. So you're looking for clues, right?
Right.
So both of you can choose who you would like to make an observation roll for the entire apartment.
Would love to do that.
Who wants to do it?
I'll do it.
Yeah. There you go.
One success. Absolutely.
There you go.
Percival, you're
Perfect.
looking around the apartment. You see a couple of objects that sort of stick out a little bit. First of all, I'm also going to show you a crime scene photo of the apartment itself, which I think is fantastic art, and you'll love it too, I hope.
Nice.
So as you can see, this is the apartment. The bed is sort of not made. You see there's a photo of someone next to the bed. There's a couple of containers of Chinese food, half-eaten, on a table. A book that's open. Seems like some plates with some food occasionally. There's also a container of some kind over by the light, off to sort of the eastern side of the apartment. That container is filled with butterflies. You can't remember seeing a butterfly in the longest time because, well, there aren't anymore. Butterflies are actually now created, just like every other pretty much animal species, except humans on the planet. But there are several surreal-looking, beautiful butterflies inside this container. I would like you, either one of you, to make a connections roll. Choose who would like to do that.
You want to make the connections roll?
Sure. Let's try.
Do you want to push that? Can't think of anybody who would make. That is not going to work out too well for you. That's going to give you a point of stress, which is going to take away from one of
Okay.
your resolve.
Yeah.
Don't know who would make butterflies. Maybe the mainframe knows. But that might take some time.
All right, who's in the picture?
Great question. You look at the picture, the bedside photo, and you see there's a photo showing a dark-haired child. Actually kind of looks very similar to Leia herself. I'm going to give you a handout as well. You take the photo and you take it out of the frame, and I'm going to show it to you. The top half is the photo, and the bottom half is the back portion of the photo. And if you look carefully at the bottom of the photo, although I don't know, yeah, I think Chad can see it too. You see there's a name inscribed on the back of the photo. It says Doc Badger.
Okay.
Yeah. We should definitely take this picture with us.
Yeah, take the picture.
Yeah. You can make a connections roll, either one of you again, to see if you know who this person is.
You want me to make it this time?
Yeah, your turn.
All right, success.
Much better.
Success.
Percival, you know that Doc Badger is a pawn shop owner in Sector 5.
All right.
Anything else you want to
Anything-
look in the apartment? I think I mentioned a couple of other things.
Yeah, let's see that book, what it's open to. What's
Yeah.
it say?
There's a book that's open on the table. It's a collection of poems. You look at it by William Blake. And it's opened to the famous poem Tiger. The Tiger, sorry. That's the name of the famous poem. Again, I'm going to give you another handout. And I would like one of you to read this poem, please.
You go right ahead.
Tiger, tiger, burning bright in the forests of the night, what immortal hand or eye could frame thy fearful symmetry? In what distant deeps or skies burnt the fire of thine eyes? On what wings dare he aspire? What the hand dare seize the fire? And what shoulder and what art could twist the sinews of thine heart? And when thy heart began to beat, what dread hand and what dread feet? What the hammer, what the chain? In what furnace was thy brain? What the anvil, what dread grasp dared steadily terror's clasp? When the stars threw down their spears and watered heaven with their tears, did he smile his work to see? Did he who made the lamb make thee? Tiger, tiger, burning bright in the forests of the night, what immortal hand or eye dare frame thy fearful symmetry?
Okay. Yeah. Interesting. It's sort of in your mind, Oelsen. Makes you think that maybe Leia was the tiger, being a replicant. What immortal hand or eye could frame thy fearful symmetry? Now, you look through this book quickly, Oelsen, and you notice that one page has actually been torn out. What that means, you're not quite sure.
I'm gonna, holding that place with one hand, I'm gonna flip it over so I can see the cover of the book and snap a picture of what the book actually is.
Cool.
So I can try to figure out and then note the pages and which ones are missing so that I can go back, try to see, okay, this is the book, these are the pages missing, now I can see what was taken out.
Got it. All right.
Right. Was there anything else in here?
Beyond
Is that
that, honestly, not a whole lot. I've given you a whole bunch of handouts, which is totally fine. The other relatively sort of easy thing to spot is there are just a whole bunch of empty bottles, mostly vodka, but very little food.
Alcohol was her vice. More likely.
All right. I'd also like to take the butterflies.
You take the whole jar. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Love it. Walk out. It's weird when you look at them, Percival. They don't move like footage that you've seen of butterflies, pre-blackout. Or
Okay.
technically pre-2019, honestly, even. They're iridescent. They're almost, they're just trippy to look at. Whoever made them, he did a good job, but wow.
Then, let's see. Was there anything else I wanted to do in here?
That's up to you.
Yeah. Oh, the picture. So, it might just be coincidence, but I want to make sure. I have a my key memory.
Yeah.
It's of a childhood memory of playing with a friend in a old abandoned building. The building collapses on her, and I managed to escape, but she didn't. But her name is also Leia.
So tell me, Percival, in your own words, I want you to draw me a word picture. As you look at this picture, what do you remember? Tell me what your mind remembers.
My mind remembers the hazy picture of Leia's face as we're playing. Does it look like this picture?
It does. It looks just like her. Now, of course, Percival, you know that this is an implanted memory.
Exactly. But sometimes this memory, it feels more real to me than everything that's going on around me.
But that doesn't make sense, Percival. If that's just an implanted memory, and then there's a picture, how could that be?
Yeah, this is definitely strange. I'm definitely pocketing the picture.
Okay. Cool. Because you've interacted with your key memory, you're going to get, and actually with, to be honest, because you tried to follow up on Mirren, who's your key relationship, you're going to get humanity points out of both of these situations. We'll tally those up at the end. But those can be used, humanity points.
Right.
So far so good, folks. As the two of you walk out of Leia's apartment, where do you go?
I guess back to the station. We got a couple more names to look up, so...
You walk back to the station? Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. So you walk through the rain in the streets of LA, the never-ending, sometimes it feels like rain of the Los Angeles streets, and Oelsen, as you're walking through the streets, you see two men shoving a woman up against the wall. Say, "What the fuck? You fucking piece of shit! You took my fucking daughter's job! You skin jobs are all alike!" And she's like, no, please stop, please! I didn't mean to!
That really bothers me. I'm going to go and walk that direction and put myself in the middle of it.
Okay, Percival, you watch as Oelsen just sort of walks just straight across the street towards this shit.
Oh, I'm right behind her.
Now, you know that, as cops, you are supposed to keep the peace, but you can't let your emotions necessarily get in the way. So whatever comes of this, you guys gotta stay professional, so to speak.
Sure.
Unless you don't necessarily want to stay professional. That's up to you. It may cost you a promotion point or two, but it may actually give them some humanity to some degree after we're all said and done.
Straight over to him.
Straight over to him. Yeah.
Yeah, straight over to him.
What do you say?
I'm sorry, was this itty-bitty little woman who's so much smaller than you really intimidating you that much that you felt the need to push her? What big men you are pushing on a tiny little thing like this. Does that make you feel so much more of a man?
They look at you in the pouring rain, just like soaking through their clothes. They're like, "Fuck off."
I don't think so.
You mean you
need
don't
to step
think
back.
so?
Pull out my
I
badge.
say you need to step back and walk away.
Percival, you pull out your badge.
Yeah.
You can make a manipulation roll. Oh,
Ooh.
yeah. What do you say, Percival?
I think it's time for you guys to go away.
If you weren't the fucking cops, we'd beat your asses square. Let's go.
Yeah.
Fling
could
my coat
try.
aside and put my hand on my pistol.
Oh, shit. They start moving a little faster through the rain. The girl is like
Just
lying.
what I thought.
The girl's like, just like hands on her face, crying, like tears in rain. Had to say it. Had to do it. Had to do it, folks. Had to happen. Session
That's
one.
the spirit. That's the
Thank you for
spirit.
getting it out of the way.
Sure.
She's just crying there. She's on the ground.
I go over to her, put my hand on her shoulder, bend down. Are you gonna be alright?
She looks up at you. She says, "Thank you. Thank you."
You're welcome. You better get going though, okay? They'll come back around. You get somewhere safe, okay?
Okay. Oelsen, you're going to get a humanity point out of this as well. Since you decided to go and help someone who needed it, shall we say. I think we're going to switch our final scene back to Fenna and Novak. Fenna, Novak, you guys have just completed your rounds in the LAPD mainframe. Not getting the information all the way that you really wanted, but still, you see additional information coming from your KIA from Percival and Oelsen, who have gone through Leia's apartment, finding a book of poetry, a jar of butterflies, and a photo of some kind that seems to say, what does it say on it? Hold on, I've got the name.
Doc Badger.
Doc Badger.
Badger's
Thank you.
pawn shop.
Yeah, Doc Badger's pawn shop. So additional leads are opening up for you as the day sort of shows its, or at least attempts to show its golden rays through a scattered cloud. The sort of beams of sunlight struggling to break through the incessant rain. Where are you guys specifically? I'm talking specifically Novak and Fenna.
I think that we were leaving the police station to head over to the Metro Dispatch, the cab dispatch.
Okay. Metro Dispatch is actually, from what I remember here, let's see, where is Metro Dispatch? Try to find it. Oh, here it is. Sorry. Metro Cab Dispatch. It's actually, you see that it's also in Sector 5, but it's a little bit further away. Let's see, where is it? It's somewhere here. Somewhere in Sector 5. Metropolitan, Financial District, Chinatown, Anemoid Row. Oh, it's pretty close to Anemoid Row, actually, from what I understand.
Alright.
So you guys can take your spinner there. It's a little bit of a walk, but it'd probably be better to take your spinner.
Okay, then I guess we'll spin.
We'll spin. Yeah. No problem. You guys get into your spinner. Now, you know, of course, there is a vid phone in your spinner, too. You know it, of course, because you get a phone call on it.
Okay.
Which seems to be coming from someone at Wallace headquarters.
Now play nice.
You're the
say
soft touch.
to Novak as I hit the button to answer the call.
Okay. Hold on. I gotta give you the where's the there it is. Yeah, the phone ringing. Pick up the phone call. You hear a couple beeps, which seems to indicate that the phone call is being recorded. It's now the afternoon, by the way, of the first day, so whatever occurs from here on out will take place in the afternoon shift. But yeah, you see a female face on the other end of the vid call. And she looks at you both in the spinner and says, "Am I speaking with Detectives Fenna and Novak?
Yes, that's right.
My name is Quell. I am the Vice President of Public Relations at Wallace Corporation. I believe that your superior, Deputy Chief Holden, informed you that I wished to see you here today. It is now, and she sort of looks down as if looking at a watch. Yes, it is now 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Please do your best. No. Please do your utmost to meet me at Wallace Corp immediately. Any delay will not be received by my superiors or yours. And then the vid phone call is terminated.
She seems pleasant.
I will give you a very quick mugshot of said person. Here we go. This is Quell. So as your spinner sort of hovers and prepares to float towards Anemoid Row, you have a choice to make. Do you go to Anemoid Row and refuse Quell, or directly go to Wallace Corporate HQ?
What do you think?
Best not piss off the big guns in the early days. We should go. The cab company will still be there after.
Off we go.
Indeed, and off we go.
We tell the two of them to follow up?
What's that?
Should we tell the two of them to go to the cab company while we're doing this?
You can message them if you'd like.
Yeah, you know what? We're gonna call.
Yep, I would do that.
Yeah.
Okay, you call, you make the phone call probably to HQ, because the KAA, you can't like make communications, but you can send in images and stuff like that to each other. So you hear a little beep on your personal KIA phone, vid phone in your offices, folks, if you return back to LAPD headquarters. That's Percival and Oelsen, of course. Have at it.
Put your mic down, Ben.
I'll go ahead and answer it. This is Percival.
Percival, we are not so gently being pulled to the Wallace when we were going to be going to investigate the cab company number. Sorry for not getting to that fast enough. We hit a couple dead ends and leads of our own. Is it possible for the two of you to go check any information out about the cab company and see if there's maybe a description of Leia's ride or any information about
Particularly
where
she was dropped off? Yes.
Absolutely.
We can do that.
Fantastic. We're going to go play nice with the suits.
Wish us luck.
Good luck.
Yes, indeed.
So this is where we're gonna leave our game as we see the viewpoint of the spinner that Novak and Fenna are riding past the monolithic old Tyrell Corporation building and towards the newly built and somewhat familiar, although perhaps even more cyclopean and monolithic building of the Wallace Corporation. So I'm going to give you guys that picture. Hold on for 1 second. There it is. And that's what we see. That little spinner on the left heading towards Wallace Corp. As we end our first session of Case File Electric Greens. So, thank you all very, very much. As we end our first session, what do you guys think?
It was great.
It's very different from Aliens.
You're kidding.
The way the company can like the artwork has some of the same vibes. I love the sort of layout and the description and the use of the talents and the stress approaches. It's a very different mindset to be in. Especially we've been doing this for 20 months or so with Aliens,
That's
and you're
right.
like, okay, I kind of understand the multiple dice and the different ways to use a lot of the familiar different mechanics.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm constantly grasping at threads with this so far, but it's fun.
Absolutely.
It is.
Well, the thing that I really like about the Alien game is that it really captures the feel of being in an Alien movie with the way the mechanics are designed. And having just watched 2049 for the first time last night, and then rewatching Blade Runner, not for the first time, but for the first time in quite a while today, one thing that I guess hadn't struck me in previous viewings of that movie is how quiet it is,
It is.
and how sort
The
of
rain is peaceful.
steady and slow. Especially like 2049 was so slow. I was like, holy crap, this movie is very slow. And this game, like, once again, it's capturing the world of that movie. Like, it's moving at a similar pace, and that's really interesting.
Yeah, I would hesitate to call it slow. I would call it.
I don't mean slow. It's steady, maybe.
Okay.
Like, I know slow tends to have negative connotations, and I definitely
More
don't mean it in that
like
It's
a
still-
realistic time frame.
Still quiet. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sweeping.
More like a realistic time frame to what you could actually get done in a day in a certain amount of time, and as opposed to some other formats where it's like boom, 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 boom. It's more realistic,
Mm-hmm.
just with what you could actually. Oh, if anybody knows LA traffic, I mean,
Events
think
will
about
happen in
that.
real time.
yes,
The soundtrack is fantastic too for
Oh,
this.
yeah.
yes, it is.
I'm very happy to.
I always like the music from the video.
I'm
movies.
very happy to have gotten the permission from a fantastic composer who has done amazing work emulating the soundtrack of Vangelis for this movie, and they will be, of course, remarked on in the YouTube video for this particular session, and of course for all the rest of the sessions for the Electric Dreams case file. So take a look in the notes for our YouTube video if you want to find out more about them and their awesome work. Now, those of you who received humanity points, go ahead and mark yourselves up for the humanity points, because you can use those to increase your skill levels during your shift of downtime. Certain skill level increases require more points than others, for example. But that said, you can certainly use them if you'd like. Promotion points, we'll get into those as the case evolves, and you get to be
So
able to.
nobody earned any today.
Not as of yet. In fact, let me double check on that very quickly and see if anybody actually got promotion points. Let's see. You know what? Actually, I will give you guys all 1 promotion point, because you did find 1 or more clues that led to some progress in the investigation.
Okay, cool.
You know what? I'm gonna do 2 promotion points. Because you uploaded at least 1 piece of important information to the LAPD mainframe.
Nice.
You're gonna tell us exactly which one was the most important, right?
No, I will not. Note, Sarah, although you are only at one resolve point, if you take a baseline test and pass it, you get a promotion point.
Yeah, but I don't get my resolve back. So...
I know, but you can spend a shift to bring it back if you wanted to by
Yeah, the
spending
shift
some
only brings back
downtime.
1.
That's correct. There are other
Okay,
mechanics to get yourself some more,
Next session,
like
next
drugs.
Session I can pet.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Or next session, I can pet my kitty again.
You can pet your kitty once a session. Whoa, that sounded weird. Okay.
Slices and dices, changes angle.
Sorry, folks. Okay, we're just keeping it snappy. That's all I got for tonight, folks. As promised, this is the first of our of multiple of our mini sessions. Thank you all for hanging out with us. Thank you all for watching our Blade Runner playthrough. And until we see each other again, remember, folks, take care of each other, but don't forget to take care of Zones. Thanks for watching. Bye.